बघितल्या आहेत, पण मी खरंच किती बोलू शकेन, कारण तुमचं हे प्रेम पाहिल्यानंतर मुद्दे असले तरी शब्द सुचत नाहीयेत आणि हे विकत नसतं मिळत, हे ओरबाडून घेता येत नाही, ही कोरडी गर्दी नाही, ही अंतःकरण ओले असलेल्या माझ्या जीवाभावाच्या शिवसैनिकांची गर्दी आहे. आणि म्हणून मी पहिल्या प्रथम आपल्या सर्वांसमोर नतमस्तक झालो. याच शिवतीर्थावरती मुख्यमंत्री पदाची शपथ घेतल्यानंतर उद्धव बाळासाहेब ठाकरे मुख्यमंत्री महाराष्ट्र राज्य म्हणून मी तुम्हाला नतमस्तक झालो होतो. कोणताही अनुभव नव्हता, फक्त पाठी तुमचे प्रेम आणि आशीर्वाद, त्या जोरावरती 2.5 वर्ष कारभार करून दाखवला. आज सुद्धा अजूनही डॉक्टरांनी मला वाकण्याची परवानगी दिलेली नाही, पण तुमच्या समोर नतमस्तक झाल्याशिवाय मी पुढे जाऊ शकत नाही. कारण हेच ते प्रेम आहे, हेच ते आशीर्वाद आहेत ज्यांनी प्रत्येक वेळेला संकटामध्ये संरक्षक कवच म्हणून सभोवती एक कड केलं. ते माझ्या जे शिवसेना प्रमुख सांगायचं ते आज मी अनुभवतोय, ते माझ्या आई जगदंबेचे जिवंत संरक्षक कवच आहे. ज्या वेळेला आपल्या शिवसेनेमध्ये गद्दारांनी गद्दारी केली, होय गद्दारच गद्दारच म्हणणार, कारण मंत्रीपद तुमच्या बुडाला चिकटलेली जरी असली ती काही काळापुरती आहेत, पण कपाळावरती गद्दारीचा शिक्का या जन्मी तरी पुसता येणार नाही, पुसायचा म्हटलं तरी पुसता येणार नाही. गद्दार. त्यावेळेला अनेकांना असा प्रश्न पडला होता की अरे बापरे, आता शिवसेनेचं काय होणार. माझ्या मनात चिंता नव्हती, कारण ज्यांनी हे कार्य सोपवलेले आहे तो बघून घेईल. आणि आज हे शिवतीर्थ बघितल्यानंतर पुन्हा त्यांच्या मनामध्ये प्रश्न पडला, अरे बापरे, गद्दारांचं कसं होणार. इकडे एक सुद्धा माणूस भाड्याने आणलेला नाही, तासाची बोली लावून आणलेला नाही. याच्यापैकी कोणाही माझ्या माता भगिनीला विचारा, बांधवांना विचारा, बुजुर्ग लोक आलेले आहेत, दिव्यांग लोक आलेले आहेत, गावावरनं पायी चालत लोक आलेले आहेत. आणि त्यांना विचारलं तर ते नक्कीच सांगतील की एकच, तिकडे सगळं आहे, एकटाच आहे, पण इकडे एकनिष्ठ आहे. एकनिष्ठ सगळे एवढे माझ्या समोर बसलेले आहेत.
We will keep a track of what really transpires on those grounds. But right now, it's over to Rahul Jivshankar, editor-in-chief, with the day's biggest debate.
Viewers, is always the biggest story on India up front, right at top. Viewers, during the course of his annual Vijayadashmi address, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat sounded a surprisingly unambiguous alarm, flagging an existential threat to Sanatan Dharma. Bhagwat feels that a number of obstacles are hindering Sanatan Dharma. Bhagwat said that the main threat is posed by those forces who are inimical to Bharat's unity and progress. Bhagwat accused them of spreading fake narratives, encouraging anarchy, engaging in criminal acts, fomenting terror, social conflict and unrest. Bhagwat said that this fake narrative was spreading disaffection, especially among vulnerable minorities. The idea, he said, was to force them into thinking that the RSS was a dangerous organization. He said that the Sangh has always stood on the side of brotherhood, amity, and fraternity. But he also appealed to the minority community to do some heavy lifting along with the RSS. He called upon the minority community to stand up in greater numbers to these sources of disinformation. In his first direct reference to the barbarous decapitation of a tailor in Udaipur at the hands of the Sartan Se Juda mob, Bhagwat expressed his disappointment that the overwhelming majority of Muslims and others in larger society didn't condemn this act. Instead, only a few select voices from the Muslim community stood up to the Islamists and spreaders of disaffection. Viewers, first listen to Mohan Bhagwat today. Listen to some very important words that he has actually spelt out. Listen to this.
दूसरे प्रकार की जो बाधा है, सनातन मूल्यों का क्षरण न हो, ये देखकर चलते समय और भी एक बाधा है, वो बाहर से आती है, जो भारतवर्ष की प्रगति को होने नहीं देना चाहते। उसलिए भारतवर्ष के समाज में किसी प्रकार का सद्भाव, सामंजस्य जो नहीं चाहते, जिनके स्वार्थों को मार मिलेगी ऐसा उनको डर लगता है, ऐसा होने से वो सारी शक्तियां बाधा उत्पन्न करती है। उधर उदयपुर में, इधर अमरावती में और भी जगह बहुत जघन्य क्रूरता वाली घटनाएं हुई। मुस्लिमों के भी कुछ प्रमुख लोगों ने इसका विरोध किया, उसको गैर इस्लामिक बताया। अन्याय, असत्य, अत्याचार, आतंक के खिलाफ ऐसे ही खड़ा होना चाहिए, ये अपवाद न रहे। हिंदू समाज में ये मुखरता है, ऐसी घटनाएं घटती है तो कोई हिंदू भी आरोपित है उसका भी निषेध करते, उसके खिलाफ बोलते। हम विश्व में सर्वत्र और सबके साथ भाईचारा, भद्रता और शांति के पक्ष में हैं, सदा रहे। लेकिन लोग डराते, अरे इस संघ वाले मारेंगे, और ये हिंदू संगठन होगा ना तो सबको बाहर जाना पड़ेगा, ये हवा फैलाते हैं। ऐसा कुछ डर मन में है, और है इसलिए उसका निराकरण करने की इच्छा मन में लेकर तथाकथित अल्पसंख्यक समाज के कुछ बंधु पिछले वर्षों में हमसे मिलते रहे हैं, और हम भी मिले हैं, हमारे प्रमुख अधिकारी उनसे मिले हैं।
Viewers, BJP leader and former Rajya Sabha member of Parliament Subramanian Swamy welcomed Bhagwat's speech, calling out the forces inimical to nation's unity. Listen in to Dr. Swamy.
I 100% endorse it. I mean, what is it that we are saying? That for 1,000 years we were suppressed. The Hindus were suppressed. The Muslims first suppressed us, and then the British suppressed us to their Christianity. And now we want a renaissance in our religion. All these caste divisions and all, they are not based on birth. You have to just read the Gita to know that Varna is not based on birth. So we want a renaissance in Hinduism. And you go on making everything as fascism, as Hitlerism, so on and so forth. I think he is absolutely right.
The opposition, viewers, however, wasn't impressed and called Bhagwat's call for unity and his entire thesis a basic pretext to play the Hindu victimhood card. He said that at least large number of opposition voices said that Mr. Bhagwat needs to introspect because some of those organizations allied very closely to the Sangh are actually responsible for the poison, for the disinformation, for the fake narratives that are actually dividing this country. Listen in, viewers.
Mohan Bhagwat always give lecture, many lectures, but those are not implemented on the ground. Only abusing minority, it is the source of RSS origin. All civilized people should live. But RSS is trying to divide the people in the name of religion and caste.
Well, I hope that includes many of his own affiliates. Because saying is one thing, doing is something else. It's very easy to preach, but we all very well know that when the ban on PFI was done, we welcomed it. But there are so many organizations which are very, very close to Mr. Bhagwat's Sangh Parivar, which is also acting in a way which is inimical to India's unity. What is he going to do about that? He should specify, no? And he should instruct the government, because the government also listens to what he says. So he should instruct the government to take action against those people who are very close to Sangh Parivar, like the Hindu Jagran Vedike, the Bajrang Dal. All of them, what are they up to?
Viewers, let's open this up, because the questions, the concerns that are being flagged by Mr. Bhagwat represent what many people believe today is a creeping attempt to criminalize and discredit the Hindu faith, Hindutva in general. Let's open this up and ask some fundamental questions as to whether those that are denying this are actually enabling this propaganda. I want to first begin with Sanjay Jha, who is a Congress leader. Mr. Jha, what do you make today of Mr. Bhagwat's commentary? He refers for the first time to Udaipur. He says that it was disappointing that very few minorities actually came out and condemned what was really the act of Islamists, and that most Muslims do not even subscribe to this sort of retaliatory, revanchist punishment.
Rahul, first and foremost, the very fact that we're discussing the head of a cultural NGO setting their narrative in this country itself is a manifestation of which way the downward spiral of India is taking it. One thing is very apparent, and Pico and I do many conversations together in the evening on Times Now, a very popular channel. I can tell you this for a fact, that this is the real exhibition of the family that runs this government. I mean, now we know who holds the remote control and who is a puppet on a string. So the BJP eventually is nothing but a puppet on a string manipulated by Nagpur. And frankly speaking, why don't the RSS and the BJP make Nagpur the capital of India, at least until they are in government? So let's cut out all these pretensions and pussyfooting around. The ideological, what I call as the ideological gurus of the BJP is the RSS. But we also know RSS is now telling us how we should be governed as a country. Now, let me answer your question. I do believe that everyone, however, has a fundamental right to comment on which way India is headed. I do admit that whatever happened with the decapitation and all the ugly communal temperature in this country has to be strongly condemned, whoever it may be. But I want to ask this question of some very eminent people from the Sangh Parivar on your panel, many of them whom I have debated with. How have they been responding to the very brazen hate or the communal sectarian politics of the BJP since 2014? Look at the data on lynching murders, Rahul. Until they happened in India since 2014, I thought I was only going to read about them when I read Mississippi Burning, or when you talked about the civil rights movement in America, when they were at the Ku Klux Klan was in operation. But here, lynching murders happened. And did Mr. Bhagwat condemn it? Did the BJP condemn it? Did the Prime Minister say anything? Not at all. And we had not one, but several of them. I agree that there were victims from different communities as well. But the majority victims were always the minority Muslims. And that, to me, is the biggest hypocrisy of the RSS and the BJP. Now, a couple of days ago on your show, we were debating, Rahul, when Mr. Bhagwat apparently made an outreach to some, members of the Muslim community. Very good initiative. At the same time, you can see what is happening in Garba festivals in Gujarat. You can see what's happening in Madhya Pradesh. There is a deliberate, almost a planned, orchestrated way to mock India's diversity. We have all grown up, I think so have you, where we enjoyed these religious congregations, where each of us enjoyed the other's festivals, and we came together and celebrated India's oneness, the secular diversity, the syncretic culture. Now you talk about people having...
So you think it's an eyewash?
Cards, what they coming here for love jihad? I mean, what does the BJP and the RSS think that to this country?
Okay. So expansive opening statement by Sanjay Jha. He can't accuse anyone today of saying that we didn't give him space. Now he says that it's strange that a socio-cultural NGO today, the head of that, we are discussing his words, which tells you who really controls the levers of power, etc., etc. This is quite rich coming from the Congress party that quotes NGOs like Oxfam and Amnesty day after day to basically paint a dire picture of India in every which way. It's also specifically rich of the Congress who actually has not only at different times allied with, but also osmotically taken in the cadre of offhand, fly-by-night, fact-checking websites, urban naxals, etc. No one will be under the illusion, viewers, that the Congress party, and I'm just giving you some facts because we are trying to expose the false equivalence that is being drawn. Several times the Congress in the recent few days, viewers, has been saying that the crackdown on the PFI, for example, I'm not talking about after the ban was announced, I'm talking in the lead up to the ban. How many times the Congress party came out and said that any such crackdown is actually an assault on civil liberties? And what were we talking about? The PFI, which defines itself as a socio-cultural NGO. So the Congress picks up the socio-cultural NGOs it thinks will actually strengthen their argument and picks up facts from there. I'm only saying, sir, the facts here. I'm only saying the facts.
Supported the PFI ban, Rahul.
No, I'm
And
talking.
he also
You didn't
said-
hear me.
What about the
you didn't hear me,
Bajrang
Sanjay Jha. You didn't hear me. Please, you didn't hear me. I was talking. Okay, don't please talk. I mean, listen to what I'm saying. I made a very pointed. Excuse me, sir. I'm coming to that point. I did say that before the PFI was banned, before, not after. So please pay attention to what I'm saying. The Congress changed its tune in the lead up to when they realized a ban was imminent and right after. Before that, forget about championing the PFI's most divisive agenda items. You even had in Karnataka moments when you shared the stage with the SDPI and the PFI. They're one and the same thing. The Election Commission will also take action against the SDPI. So let's not try to today obfuscate. I'm only drawing an apples to apples comparison since you brought it up to expose the duplicity here. But nonetheless, on the larger point that Sanjay Jha made, that look, there is an element of double standards that the various organizations affiliated to etc. of the RSS, they are the ones indulging in dividing this country. Prime Minister and Mohan Bhagwat and have never spoken up, this, that, the other. The Prime Minister has spoken up several times, viewers, and I have instances which I can bring out here right now. First of all, let me quickly bring this to your attention, viewers, that there were at least in January 2019, Modi condemned Gaurakshak lynchings. In July 2017, he said, I have asked states to take strict action against those violating law in the name of cow protection. It should not be given political color or communal color. The nation doesn't benefit from it. And he went on. But viewers, there were several instances, since the facts are being asked of me right now by Sanjay Jha, I just want to put them out to you. And let's quickly go over this. When the Karnataka government acknowledged under Siddaramaiah that there was no proposal to ban the PFI, this is January 14, 2018, very clearly saying that there is no proposal and neither do we intend to. Not just the Congress, Chidambaram had condemned the arrest of 5 individuals in the Bhima Koregaon case. In 2018, the 5 arrested were social activists and intellectuals. The arrests were also made to instill fear in those speaking against the BJP government. When Congress tried to draw a false equivalence between the PFI and RSS following the ban on the PFI, what Mr. Surjewala said, the belated action of the PFI ban is a step in the right direction after prolonged vacillation. When will BJP government act against the other side of the same coin? Organization close to BJP, RSS, communalism and hate in all forms is harmful to societal fabric and must be curbed. So even after the ban, viewers, there was an attempt to draw false equivalence. I'm just setting the record straight on facts. Now let's get Ratan Sharda and Rakesh Sinha and Syed Rizwan Ahmed on this. Mr. Rakesh Sinha, Member of Parliament in Rajya Sabha, how do you respond to Sanjay Jha, who says stop playing aggressively the Hindu victimhood card?
In fact, Congress fails to understand what Bhagwat said. In fact, Congress trust with the political society is in offing. Every time Congress takes the stand which goes against the social and cultural realities of the country. Mohan Bhagwat ji spoke something which is like a statesmanship. I am giving three important points from his speeches. One, he said that diversity is the essence of India. This diversity constitutes the oneness of the nation, that one nation, one people. That's why he said that the mode of worship and the food habits or the value of life may be different in different parts of the country depending on the context and the geography, but our cultural unity remains the same. He went to the extent that even the colonial rule was there, even the other rules were there, different state powers and different political powers were, but India remained the same. So changing process. Second important thing is said that orthodoxy cannot rule the society. We have to come out the orthodoxy, and he emphasized, even he quoted the feminist of the feminist movement all over the world, and he said that India's women power must be empowered in a perfect manner in the public spaces. This is coming from the RSS and appeal. Third important thing is that about the mother tongues, that he said that Indian languages should be promoted and we should not indulge in duplicity and hypocrisy, that we should appeal for the Indian languages and we should not follow. But the important dialogue coming from his speech is that there may be two different communities, Hindus and Muslim, but certain elements in the society for their own political selfishness trying to create a gulf between the Hindus and Muslim by constituting a conspiratorial theory that RSS constitutes a threat for the minorities. Here RSS takes the moral responsibility for a dialogue, and he said this is not a new thing. He quoted RSS second chief Golwalkar Sri Guruji. He had dialogue with Jilani, and since then there has been a consistent dialogue with the Muslims, but there is a need for perestroika and glasnost among the minorities. They are not coming out. Very few of them are coming out for a dialogue. They must feel that the basis of India is cultural unity. They may have different mode of worship, but the culture, ancestor, civilization and history are the same. Here Congress party fails to understand that the unity of India does not depend on politics. Moreover, what offends the Sanjay Jha and the Congress party, because Congress party wants that the gulf between the Hindus and Muslims will create a vote bank for them, and Rahul Gandhi, who has been in the southern state when PFI had been consistently attacking the majority community, the Congress remained silent. T.J. Joseph's hands were chopped off. There was no reaction from the Congress party. Therefore, I consider that Congress opinion on Mohan Bhagwat's speech is most ridiculous.
Well, let me tell you, Sanjay Jha, to add to what Mr. Rakesh Sinha is saying, very quickly let me remind you, UPA Minority Affairs Minister K. Rahman Khan had said in 2013 that the Indian Mujahideen does not even exist. He was asked whether he believes so. He said it doesn't exist. Unlike other organizations, the Muslim community is not buying its existence in the country. As far as I am concerned, nobody knows what it is, where it was formed, how it was formed, and who runs it. So let's not speak about the Congress's unfortunate track record of emboldening Islamists. We've also had a former Congress Prime Minister holding a one-hour meeting with the person who took direct responsibility and admitted to the Kashmiri Hindu genocide. You have Rahul Gandhi on his Bharat Jodo Yatra go and meet a pastor I'm sure Sanjay Jha must have read the views of that pastor, and I'm sure you will not come out there and say that that pastor should have been mainstreamed in the manner he was. You will also remember that Rahul Gandhi held or walked with an individual who, in fact, very recently in Kerala was the face of another attack on members of the majority community.
A quick response, Rahul. A very quick response. I am not going to deny that any political party and the Congress is guilty of having made mistakes in the past. But what you're witnessing
Guilty of making mistakes in the past, you're still making them.
Open call. No, under Mr. Modi, you have had religious gatherings where there have been open.
But people have been punished, sir. People have been punished. Yati Narsinganand was punished. He was arrested. He's out on bail because the court put him out on bail. But he was arrested.
Well, let me tell you, there has been an open hate campaign.
No, hang on. You can't. How are you linking it? Let me bring in Syed Rizwan Ahmed. Okay, let's. He's a Muslim, a bona fide Muslim. The RSS also has viewers. The Muslim Rashtra Manch, 5 prominent Muslims, in fact, one of cousins of Syed Rizwan Ahmed has met Mohan Bhagwat just a few days back. You have had Pranab Mukherjee, Ratan Tata, some of the greatest icons of this country go to the RSS headquarters. In fact, Pranab Mukherjee, a doyen of the Congress party, a person that Sonia Gandhi entrusted with the leadership of several GOMs, more than 100 GOMs, viewers, stood on the RSS platform and praised the founder, Mr. Hegrewal of the RSS, calling an ideal son of the soil. So I really don't know if these are socio-cultural NGOs of no significance. Why is Ratan Tata, why are Pranab Mukherjee, when he was president, gracing their platform? Are they absolutely individuals?
Inspiring the RSS to behave like Indians.
No, what?
Actually honor Indian
okay, let me bring in Syed Rizwan Ahmed, standing with a pastor who advocates the breakup of this country, or another individual who actually has gone and spread hate speech, is certainly not an act of anyone in love with their country. Let me tell you. I'm not here pronouncing judgment, etc. I'm just saying, if you want to deny it, you can. If Rahman Khan, your minority affairs minister, says there is no I am in this country, well, sir, that is his call, and perhaps the public has answered it by keeping you out of power for all these many years. I don't know. But let me just bring in Syed Rizwan Ahmed. Syed Rizwan Ahmed, what do you make of this constant sort of character assassination of the Hindu community that is going on?
Yeah, thank you so much. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. In the initial comment, our respected panelist, Mr. Jha, talked about an NGO, and you picked up those words, socio-cultural NGO, and you quoted a couple of NGOs, but you missed out on All India Personal Law Board. The Congress Party, All India Personal Law Board, being an NGO, it drafts the minority Muslim policies for the government, for the Congress, from the times of Shah Bano to Saira Bano. The Congress Party feels that whatever All India Personal Law Board and NGO says, that is the last word for Indian Muslims. So before pointing fingers at RSS being an NGO, they should feel what legitimacy they have given to All India Personal Law Board and Indian politics, number one. Number two, the tweet of Mr. Bhagwat, what I read into it, Rahul, it is a very carefully worded tweet. The first part mentions Sanatan Dharam, and the second part immediately mentions Bharat, inimical to Bharat unity. Conspicuously, both words have been used together in one tweet, and that is true also. Mr. Bhagwat wants to communicate that the unity of Bharat comes through Sanatan Dharam, and both complement each other and both are synonym to each other, which is absolutely true. Now the truth is, there are 3 categories of people. There is an esteemed panel. I'll finish my submission. The first category are the people who can go to any length to dismantle Johnson, Narendra Modi, and to the extent of dismantling India, they can go up to dismantling Modi. if you tell them that by dismantling India you can dismantle Johnson, they won't shy off. Though these are the people whom I saw happy when the country was short of oxygen. These are the people whom I saw happy when from the banks of Ganga bodies were recovered. Believe me, I saw them happy. And these are the people who make fun of a small thing, a small initiative of cheetahs coming to India, and they will be more happy, God forbid, if something happens and we lose a couple of cheetahs. They have stooped so low. The second are the people, one of them is your panelist, who give this mindset a cover fire. They patronize them, they nurture them for their political needs. These are the politically secular people of the country. Last but not the least, seeing these two people dismantling the idea of Bharat, there is a reaction syndrome in a section of majority community. And these people wait for that reaction to come, and the moment that reaction comes, they start their chest beating that the constitution is in danger and democracy of this country is in danger.
Well, Tehseen Poonawalla, let me ask you a small question. I'm taking off from where Mr. Sanjay Jha ended, and it's important because it appears that the entire onus of keeping the peace has been placed at the doorstep of the Hindu community, and all the time, all the while, a free pass is given to those who bait the community. There are a couple of questions, and please do answer the questions today, Mr. Poonawalla. Don't talk around the questions.
But don't interrupt
I
me,
don't
so
interrupt
I
you. I only interrupt you when you start haranguing the viewer with long monologues but never get to the point. So, it's a waste of time. Now, you can either do
I'm
that.
inspired by you.
Yeah, okay. Well,
let's go shortly.
Fair enough. I didn't attack you, sir. I didn't attack you.
Sure,
you
sure,
attacked
sure.
me. But it's okay.
Sure.
It's fine.
No,
It goes down. It goes down in the black book. It's fine. No problems. I am magnanimous enough to still invite you back. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
I hope you can reciprocate that at some point.
I do.
Rizal Makutti slaughtered the cow. Rahul Gandhi called the act shameful and barbaric 5 years ago. That same Rahul Gandhi is then seen walking with Rizal Makutti. I just want to ask you, why would you give a platform to a leader or an individual? And a leader you did in Uttar Pradesh, a cleric that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra shared a stage with, promoted, and we all know what he said. I can recount those words. But coming back to the point, which governments in the very beginning brought in the cow slaughter, anti-cow slaughter legislations? Were they Congress governments? And if so, why did they bring them in? Because obviously they knew that the cow is revered by the Hindu community. So then why would you go out of your way to give a platform to people like Rizal Makutti? What is hope to be gained? A person that Rahul Gandhi called barbarous, his actions shameful. What brought them back together? If not some sort of antipathy for Hindus in general. I just want to understand this. If you can answer this question directly, it's great. If you can't, I'll understand. I understand the compulsions.
No, I will answer that question, but I actually am stunned that, you deduce while the others will speak on macro issues, and I want to speak on macro issues. It's always boxed down to a micro issue, and then you have to answer that, and then we cannot have a larger discussion that we want to. So if I may please be allowed to speak at the onset, happy Dussehra to you, to all your viewers, and to all my fellow panelists. I'll specifically answer your question, but I'd rather speak on a macro issue. Millions of people are joining Bharat Jodo. Some may not be desired, they join in. There is no vetting in a public walk where people come, shake hands, and they go. By the same logic, I can answer, why was Sri Narendra Modi ji entertaining Mehul Bhai Choksi with his own mouth in his house when there were warrants against Mehul Bhai Choksi, or Nirav Modi had escaped to Davos and was clicking pictures with the Prime Minister? See, in public gatherings or the Prime Minister's house, if that is excusable, then this is excusable. And I don't hold a brief for Rahul Gandhi. Yes, he should be more alert. But we are reducing this debate to somebody walking in a yatra.
No, we are not reducing it, sir.
I want to speak on a matter.
Maulana Taqi Raza. No, let's talk about Maulana Taqi Raza. Fine. This happened by chance. Happenstance that this man walked, 1 second, happenstance that Rizal Makutti was walking stride in stride with Rahul Gandhi, fine, I can understand in a public gathering, even though they are two very singular individuals, viewers. If you see those pictures, you will understand, and I'm going to put those pictures up, you can have a reference on them. But Maulana Taqi Raza, who runs some small-time political party, and Sayyid Rizwan Ahmad will be able to tell us a little bit more about it. He said, I see anger in the eyes of my youth, and I'm afraid that one day this anger will burst out. I'm afraid that the day I lose control over them, what will happen? My youth is telling me, you're getting older, you cannot do anything, but I want to tell them that I will die before them. I want to tell my Hindu brothers that I'm afraid that one day when my youth take the law into their hands, you won't find any place to hide in India. And this was before he decided to back the Congress in the 2022 election in Uttar Pradesh. And then there is a very public sharing of the platform with this gentleman and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. The pictures, viewers, are there on your screens for you to see. This is not some chance gate crasher. Neither did Priyanka Gandhi Vadra gate crash this event, and neither did he gate crash Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's inner circle. Then, viewers, in West Bengal, there is an organization called the ISF, run by a cleric, Furfura Sharif cleric, who spewed the most vile anti-Hindu invective that you can ever hear. I don't even want to replay it, but those pictures will also be brought up. The left aligned with this sectarian mobster, viewers. And next to him stood the Congress. Next to them stood the Congress. And I remember what Sanjay Jha said on that debate when I brought that to his attention. All that time ago, a year, possibly more than a year ago, he said that was not right. I can replay that soundbite.
I stand by it.
You stand by it. So then I'm just asking, Tehseen Poonawala doesn't want to answer these questions. He doesn't want to get into the particularities because they become extremely uncomfortable.
I do. I want to answer them. Both Sanjay and I, and Sanjay, pardon me, I'm going to speak for you, are of the opinion that the Congress needs to be a centrist party. And both Sanjay and I don't shy away from criticizing what is wrong. The problem, I'll tell you where it is, Rahul, and now please hear me out, because it is a very auspicious day. Yeah, sure. I think that these people, whether the people in West Bengal or the person in Uttar Pradesh, add no value and are not representatives of Muslims. I'm saying this openly with my mother, a practicing Muslim. They are not representatives of Muslims. They must not be talking for Muslims, as the previous spokesperson rightly said about the Muslim Personal Law Board. They have no space. But why does the RSS appropriate itself to being a spokesperson for Hindus, which my wife is, which Sanjay is, and we don't, and they don't agree on the RSS? Mahatma Gandhi said about the RSS, please don't interrupt me now, that they have blood on their hands. Rajendra Prasad ji said about this, about the RSS on 12th December 1948 in a letter to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in 5th. I'll tell you. You can object, sir.
One minute. Let him finish.
Mahatma Gandhi never said so. Mahatma Gandhi never said so.
You may object, sir.
Don't.
One second, gentlemen, please.
Source of information, Mr. Poonawala.
On 12th
Rajendra Prasad always supported RSS. Rajendra Prasad attended the RSS meeting. Zakir Hussain attended the RSS meeting. Don't misquote these
gentlemen, please. 30 seconds, please. 30 seconds. Okay, 1 second. I want to bring in Ratan Sharda on this point. 1 second. Ratan Sharda, who has written several books also on the RSS. 1 minute. Let me bring him in. Gentlemen, don't shout over each other. Please give me 30 seconds. Let me restore some calm. I'm running out of time also. Please.
I want this one line. Let your viewers know it. It's just one line. On 12th December 1948.
It is a contentious fact. It is being opposed to by an RSS member of the RSS. Rakesh Sinha was also a member of Parliament. I want to now bring in a person who has studied the RSS his entire life. Let me go across to Mr. Ratan Sharda. He has no opinion in this matter. He has no political lenience. No, 1 second. He has no political leaning. Please.
He is absolutely pro-RSS.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to pull down everyone's faders. This is not right. Let him come in. 1 second. Please. Gentlemen, please. Yeah, Mr. Ratan Sharda, what do you make of this constant antipathy towards the RSS when you have top leaders, Muslim leaders, top Muslim personalities, top Congress personalities, the presidents of our country, visiting the RSS, speaking to the RSS, engaging the RSS. Why is this antipathy constantly there? Is it because the RSS is some variant of some Ku Klux Klan, as the Congress says, or some Muslim Brotherhood, as Rahul Gandhi has said?
Well, Rahul, today is also the birth date of RSS. It's an important landmark. So, and happy Vijayadashmi to all. Now, coming to your point of view, since he brought in Rajendra Prasad, I'll just close that point first. Rajendra Prasad was very highly ill-treated because he attended the Somnath temple's inauguration. We know that very well. And many people were also ill-treated because of that by Pandit Nehru. But let me come to more serious issue. The more serious issue is that Sanjay Jha, going back to the old genetics of Nehru family, who hated RSS because RSS was becoming very popular and very strong. So from 1947 itself, there was a very strong urge to crush RSS from Nehru onwards. They failed. They banned RSS thrice. Every time the courts removed the ban, and that means the ban were illegal, and they could not do anything about it. Now, more serious issues when he calls why RSS being called. It is the same political apartheid was implemented by RSS and left for years together. You will remember when camera used to go to any disaster site, as soon as they saw RSS half pant, they would remove the camera from the site. It has happened regularly. As a child, as a young man, I have seen all through in every good work that RSS did. He talks about what kind of support we give. We can forget about the cow slaughter guy, but we can remember Tukde person, Mr. Kanhaiya Lal, now very important member of the Congress party. Sanjay Jha talked about lynching, but he is very selective. 3 years back, I had a data where there are 22 cow protectors killed, which included women, which included policemen, which included even Muslims. There is no talk of that. Last year, it said 20 Hindu activists are killed by the same jihadi mindset people. And in fact, the number from 2014 comes to around 150. But never has any Congress person had any sympathy for that. Now, coming to why the narrative is going the way it is. So let us come to that narrative. From 2014, the narrative started by the church attack on church, which was found to be fake. Before that, there was talk of nun rape, which was found to be fake. There was talk about RSS ki sazish. Mr. Jha stays in Mumbai. He knows the book was released by one of his prominent friends. There was no regret. There was no sorry for that. There was a fake story about their own people saying their own government hanged the person wrongly. Now coming to other issues. So why was CA opposed? It had nothing to do with India. Can you please put your finger down, please? I am still speaking. Don't disturb. Keep your finger down.
Disturbing you. I'm asking the
Yes, because it seems you want to interrupt. That is the reason. It's okay. He's not interrupting. Yeah. It's okay. Ratan Sharda, please continue. Please continue.
CAA was opposed. Wrong narrative was created. Wrong narrative was created. Shaheen Bagh was created. Riots were created in Delhi. Then 370 was opposed as if it was against the Muslims. But no congressman ever admitted that 370 resulted in injustice to 1 million Hindus and Sikhs who walked into India from Pakistan, while 2 other people who walked from the same district to Mumbai to Delhi became the prime ministers. And these people suffered 70 years. They did not ever regret the loss of power to women, to Dalits, to Gorkhas, to transgenders. None of them in all these 70 years. Triple Talaq was treated as a communal bill. It is the biggest reform for the feminism, for the equal rights. Labor code is opposed. Disinvestment of opposed. Vaccine was made fun of. If this is not negative narrative creating, what is?
Yes.
So when RSS chief meets Muslims, there is a problem. When RSS chief gives lecture to Muslims, there is a problem because they do not want Hindu and Muslims to live together.
Okay, is that the issue? Mohammad Zishan, political analyst who's sympathetic to the TMC point of view on the debate also. Mr. Zishan, a small question to you, and this is a question that you must answer. You must answer. There are members of the TMC, for example, members of parliament, who refer to Hindus as Chotiwala Rakshasas. Do you believe, sir, that when you label the members of a community in this manner, you are enabling the forces of hate to target them? Simple question. First, do you approve of this? Chotiwala Rakshasas.
Mr. Rahul, this
these statements are not approved by me. Not approved by me, and this is also not the stand of Trinamool Congress party. If someone has said this, it is their responsibility to come and defend or to come and answer about this question. It's not mine. And secondly,
but they've gone unpunished in the TMC.
The problem is not with RSS.
But they've gone unpunished in the TMC, sir. They've gone unpunished in the TMC. All I'm saying is there is a enabling culture.
I'm sitting here.
There is an enabling culture.
As a political analyst.
What action the party had taken? What action TMC has taken against the
No, what action the party will take or what action the party has taken, the party will answer.
Belongs to your party.
I am saying one thing, let's stick on to the topic.
No, you are damaging the Hindu community.
One minute,
you are attacking the sentiment of the Hindu community.
The problem is, you have to allow me, to say something.
We are debating
you have to allow me to say something.
Okay, let him finish.
Please stop politicizing religion. Please stop.
Who is politicizing? Calling somebody a chotiwala rakshas.
This is the main problem with
Who is
RSS.
politicizing?
This is the main problem with
no, 1 second, 1 second. If you call somebody a chotiwala rakshas and several other epithets, who is politicizing religion?
I have a question.
When you say that Jai Shri Ram is a weaponized war cry, who is politicizing religion?
The Bengali sentiments do not
I'm asking you.
Any statement which hurts the religious sentiments of any community.
Mr. Muhammad Zishan, if you don't support this statement, which you said you do not support, then I want to ask you, why is this person still a member of parliament from the TMC? It's a simple question. This is dog whistle. This is dog whistle to demonize Hindus.
Examples, Rahul. I can show you many examples on the side of Bharatiya Janata Party.
But that doesn't make it right.
Spoken many things.
We all criticize.
Have been behind the bar,
three leaders of the BJP have even been removed from their offices. They have been suspended and expelled from their parties. There are criminal cases that have been lodged against them. I'm only asking you, you come and you can say Susu wala, Susu, Susu potty wale. No, 1 second. No, 1 second. Muhammad Zishan, it can't go on like this. This is not a one-way street. Tolerance can no longer be a one-way street in this country. You can't call certain people Susu potty wale people.
Speak, Mr. Rahul.
I'm only asking you this question. Listen, you can't speak on your own terms all the time, sir. I'm asking you a question. Respond to those questions.
Can't I have the authority? Can't I have the right to ask a question to you, Rahul?
No, you're a panelist, sir. I ask the questions. You need to answer the questions.
I think this is my right.
If you want to become a journalist,
yes, sure,
please start your own outfit, start your own debate show and call me and I'll answer your questions and I'll show you how you answer questions. But please don't become the moderator here. I'm asking you a question. No, Muhammad Zishan, I'm asking you some questions. Please answer them. I beg you. I beg you, sir. I beg you.
Okay.
We are talking about tolerance in this country. The question is, is it only incumbent upon one side today to exhibit tolerance? Is it the onus of only one side? Whether it's a political outfit or it is a group in society. I want to ask you this question.
Done? Mr. Rahul, showing tolerance is not the responsibility of one and only party. It's the responsibility of each and every citizen of India. I'm speaking on that. Coming apart from political views, I'm speaking straightly to maintain and protect the Constitution of India, to protect the secularism, to protect the tolerance level. Each and everyone must be responsible. I'm just quoting one sentence of Mohan Bhagwat in 2013. He said that a husband can disown his wife if the woman refuses to do the household chores. And today is speaking about women empowerment. This hypocrisy is being seen by the 48% population of the India, which comprises of women. They know that the RSS are hypocrites, they are the misogynistic, and now they are trying to impress the women votes by speaking about women empowerment. They are speaking about oneness in culture. They are speaking about oneness in culture. Where is the culture? When they slaughtered and beaten up Tabrez Ansari for not uttering Jai Shri Ram? Where were this panelists? Where were Mohan Bhagwat?
Sir, if you are going to constantly draw an equivalence.
Did he speak a single word?
Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Mr. Zishan, if you are going to continuously
I
can talk about, for example, in Bengal, you belong to the state of Bengal.
Begging the citizens.
No, 1 second. Don't beg here. Don't beg. No, 1 second. You are being selective in your outrage. Let me tell you. No, 1 second. Muhammad Zishan, you are being very selective in your outrage. We have Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of Bengal.
I'm not selective.
No, please, I'll remind you, sir, of what you have forgotten. No, I'll remind you of what you have forgotten because I know your political inclinations. Look, you can choose to speak over me and shout over me and not correct the record here. No one will support Mohan Bhagwat when he says X or Y about women, etc., etc. No one will.
But he never said it.
Well, I'll get Ratan Chadha to set the record straight if he feels that, if he has been misquoted, etc. One second, please, gentlemen, please. But there is a Chief Minister of Bengal. There is a Chief Minister of Bengal, Mamata Banerjee. Viewers, certain heinous crimes were committed. And Siddharth Talia is going to quickly send me those remarks. Certain heinous crimes were committed against women in Bengal. And Mamata Banerjee came out and trivialized them. Now, no one on this panel, including Mohammad Zishan, will say that that was wrong and that she should beg forgiveness. They won't. Because you see, it's inconvenient politically. Because they believe it's only, the onus is only on one side to always behave in a manner. Of course it is. But they will continually ignore. They will, one second, Mohammad Zishan, I will read out the statement and then I will ask you, what if it was a relative of yours who was fighting for justice and the Chief Minister of the state said what they said? And here it is, viewers. Siddharth Talia, who is Times Now's lead researcher, has sent me the statement. This is what Mamata Banerjee said about the Nadia rape in April 2022. Are you going to call it rape or pregnant or a love affair? I asked the police. It was a bad thing and an arrest has been made, but I heard there was a love affair between the boy and the girl. Was it an actual rape? Or was it an actual rape, or was she pregnant? Or was there any other reason? Or was she repeatedly slapped? Even her family members knew she was having an affair. If some boy or a girl is having an affair, how can I stop that? This is not Uttar Pradesh that I will start a love jihad program. The girl died on April 5th. The police got to know on 10th. If somebody died on the 5th and there was any ground for suspicion, any complaint, then why was not a complaint filed before the police on the 5th itself? You burnt the body. I'm speaking as a layman without knowing the full details. Where will they get the evidence? Question mark. The Chief Minister asked. This is a police investigation into a rape case, and the Chief Minister is going out there and suggesting it was something more. She's not in the investigative team, viewers. So I'm just saying, and there are many such examples. I can quote at least 4 more.
Give me
yeah, okay. Yes, Mr. Sinha, you wanted to make a point.
To clarify what the statement.
Yeah, please clarify.
You know, Mamata Banerjee, when a woman was raped, the kind of statement Mamata Banerjee had given then, it was undesirable, unspeakable. I can't repeat that statement. As far Mohan Bhagwat's statement on women is concerned, he has been consistent throughout his leadership that women must be empowered. There should be gender equality. Women must be given the equal space in the public life. And the gentleman is quoting something from the TMC Research Department, which is not doing justice to the public cause.
Okay, let me quickly move on and bring in Syed Rizwan Ahmed one last time. Syed Rizwan Ahmed, just 1 second. Situate the context here, please. Okay, gentlemen, I've run out of time.
One sentence. One sentence, just I mean. Mohan Bhagwatji has given importance to the social initiative. This is the acknowledgement of the limits of the state power.
Okay.
He said there are many powers which can't be resolved without.
Okay, 1 second. We'll have this to and fro, viewers, for the end of time. Let me quickly bring in Syed Rizwan Ahmed. Syed Rizwan Ahmed, where are we going with this? Mohan Bhagwat today says that it appears that disinformation, and I've exposed the disinformation and the way narratives are built, viewers, on this show in the last 45 minutes. So I want to ask you, Syed Rizwan Ahmed, the fundamental question. Are today a large number of Muslims victims of this narrative building, fake narrative building?
No, one of your panelists, my friend Tehseen, while quoting his respected and lovable mother, he said that mainstream Muslims are not like Tawqir. I remember this discussion was going on. So may I ask him with due respect, after Udaipur happened, was any Muslim cleric or Muslim leader able to muster not more than the least 500 Muslims only, and take out a march denouncing what happened in Udaipur? The answer is no. You can in the debate go away by saying that mainstream Muslims are not hardliners. But what we see on the ground says something different. Number two, again you quoted the 5 people who went and met Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, and I said this in the last show. These 5 people, with all the responsibility I say, acted in a very hypocrite manner. They go to Mr. Bhagwat with a bag full of complaints vis-a-vis RSS or Hindutva. Had they been honest, they should have approached Mr. Bhagwat with also another bag of the problems which this country is facing because of Islamists. And they should have gone and kept both the bags in front of Mr. Bhagwat. But they did not go with the bag with the problem which Islamists are causing. They only went with the bag which the Hindu forces are causing in this country. This shows the entire exercise was just a gimmick with bad intentions.
Well, viewers, the idea here was, and I have to wrap up, we've run out of time completely. The idea was to actually do 2 debates. This is overrun, this particular show. So we haven't been able to focus on the birth of a new national political outfit that has been launched by Mr. KCR, the Chief Minister of Telangana, today in Hyderabad. But viewers, nonetheless, the whole idea behind this debate was to bring out an uncomfortable subject, which Mr. Bhagwat has raised. Now we can criticize him, and we've had a full debate, we can accuse him of sophistry, of hypocrisy, etc. But the central message can't be forgotten, which is that when there is something wrong, then everyone must speak up in vast majorities. If you don't, you become an accomplice. I leave it at that, viewers. I leave it for you to think this through.
There was a big song and dance about internet being cut. Okay. Now, if you have reached a stage where you say an internet cut is more dangerous than the loss of human lives, then what can I say?
India's illegal and unilateral actions of 5th August 2019 to change the internationally recognized disputed status of Jammu and Kashmir and to alter the demographic structure of the occupied territory further undermined the prospects of peace. There was a big song and dance about internet being cut. Okay. Now, if you have reached a stage where you say an internet cut is more dangerous than the loss of human lives, then what can I say? So the fact is, if you look at the whole 370 issue,
I mean, it's a fundamental, maybe I should not be looking in your direction. I ask you all to, just a very basic part. What was a temporary provision of the Constitution was finally put to rest. This was supposed to be act of majority. Wait. This was supposed to be majoritarian. Now tell me what was happening in Kashmir was not majoritarian. So, I think the way facts are slanted, things are played up, what is right, what is wrong is confused. This is actually politics at work.
Kashmir situation is often misrepresented or misunderstood in Washington. What is the current understanding of US lawmakers about Kashmir and terrorism there?
If there is a terrorist incident, and it doesn't matter of what faith the person, who's killed. If there are Indian soldiers or Indian policemen who are abducted or killed, if there are people working for the government or citizens going about their business who lose their lives, how often do you hear people talking about it?
All the top stories on the show tonight, viewers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi sounded the poll bugle in the poll-bound Himachal Pradesh. PM also inaugurated state-of-the-art AIIMS Bilaspur complex and laid foundation for projects worth over Rs 3,600 crores. In his Baramulla address, Union Home Minister slammed Mehbooba Mufti and Abdullahs for not providing housing facilities. He hailed Modi and highlighted that under PM's leadership, over 1 lakh people were allotted free houses. Amid the ongoing LG versus AAP dangle over alleged irregularities in power subsidies, BJP leaders staged a protest in the national capital against the AAP graft.
Pronouncing on it.
And I'm also constrained to respond to one delegation that has chosen yet again to misuse this forum and make false allegations against my country. It is therefore important for me to set the record straight. It is ironic that Pakistan is speaking about the rights of minorities. For a country that has even stopped publishing its data to hide its same shameful record, it is amazing that they have even brought up this subject. It has a long history of having committed the gravest violations of minority rights that the world has ever seen. We know that what Pakistan has done to its minorities. It has decimated them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very happy Dussehra to you. The election season has gripped India even in this festive season. Ahead of the 2024 final match, Narendra Modi and his team are gearing up for the 2023 semi-final. The mandate in 9 states will decide who is in pole position. Leading BJP from the front is none other than Prime Minister Modi himself. Armed with Sabka Vikas pledge, Prime Minister Modi literally sounded the poll bugle in Himachal by boosting the health infrastructure. He inaugurated AIIMS Hospital, which is built at the cost of over 1,400 crore. The Vikas push in Himachal is worth over 36,000 crores. Listen in to the Prime Minister.
विकास को लेकर हमने देश में लंबे समय तक एक विकृत सोच को हावी होते देखा है। अच्छी सड़कें होगी तो कुछ राज्यों और कुछ बड़े शहरों में होगी, दिल्ली के आसपास होगी। अच्छे शिक्षण संस्थान होंगे तो बहुत बड़े बड़े शहरों में होंगे। अच्छे अस्पताल होंगे वो तो दिल्ली में ही हो सकता है, बाहर हो ही नहीं सकता है। देश के पहाड़ी प्रदेशों में मूल सुविधाएं तक सबसे अंत में कई कई बरसों के इंतजार के बाद पहुंचती थी। इस वजह से देश का एक बड़ा हिस्सा वहां के लोग असुविधा में, अभाव में रहे। पिछले 8 वर्षों में देश अब उस पुरानी सोच को पीछे छोड़कर नई सोच, आधुनिक सोच के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है।
On the other hand, Amit Shah is strengthening the Sarkar's mission in Jammu and Kashmir, from the strong promise of giving reservations to Pahadis to tearing into terror apologists. Amit Shah has revealed the centre's intent. Today in Baramulla, he had the bulletproof glass shield removed while talking to the people of the Union Territory directly, eye looking into their eyes. Listen in to what Amit Shah had to say.
70 साल तक ये 3 परिवारों ने शासन किया। कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट आया जम्मू कश्मीर में, कितनी इंडस्ट्री आई, कितने कल कारखाने लगे, कितने युवाओं को रोजगारी मिली। 70 साल के अंदर सिर्फ 15,000 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट आया और मोदी जी ने ये 3 साल में 56,000 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट आज जम्मू कश्मीर में लाने का काम किया है।
From public health infrastructure to Ayushman Bharat and several other schemes, from telecom to defense to infrastructure, the Modi government has worked towards the transformation of the brand Bharat to make it more Atmanirbhar. Modi government has upgraded India from 4G to 5G, giving a thrust to digital India. With the induction of the light combat helicopter Prachand, India has upped its air warfare game. Made in India iPhone to reach 2.5 billion by the end of 2023, and that seems to be the roadmap that the Prime Minister has been working on, not just over the last 8 years, but renewed attempts in the last few weeks. But the opposition is banking on just one thing, and that is freebies, reverie culture, to try and strengthen their own base. On the eve of KCR going national, the TRS netas were seen, and that is what they've been accused of, seen distributing liquor and chicken, and KCR's big event turned out to be a little bit of a damp squib, with many of the biggies staying away. with just H.D. Kumaraswamy in attendance. The BJP says the farmhouse model of politics will fall flat, just like the opposition in 2019. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Vikas or Rebri, what will really get votes? That's the real question for the opposition, and that's the question the BJP is asking. The debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, Smita Prakash, Editor ANI, Dr. Akashdeep Muni, Political Analyst, Lokesh Jindal, Leader of the Congress Party. But my first question goes to Mr. Karthik Reddy, Spokesperson of the Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, which has today become the Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti. Karthik Reddy, my question to you is, what's the vision? The opposition really has many candidates. There is Mamata Banerjee emerging in the east, there is Nitish Kumar, there is Arvind Kejriwal, there is now KCR, and of course Rahul Gandhi has always been a prime ministerial candidate favorite between 2014 and 2019 elections. With nobody supporting each other, do you think the opposition and KCR really has a plan to attack and to defeat the BJP in 2024?
Navika ji, first most, let me, to viewers of Times Now, let me wish them a very happy Dasara. For all those Telugu viewers of yours, ma Telugu Sodari Sodarulandariki kuda Vijayadashami Shubhakankshalu. Raanuna samvatsaram vijayalu chekurchalani korukunటూ. But I never realized, Navika, that being too many players in politics was ever an issue enough for not to be in politics at all. My point being, all the players you've just mentioned, yes, they've been in politics for a long time. People have seen what they can do, what they cannot do, what is their results in their states, their governments, and people are a witness to all of these. Let me assure you, Navika, that Bharata Rashtra Samiti, we're going to be a party of change. We're going to be a pro-farmer centric party. We're going to be a southern identity centric party. We're going to be a party which is going to be different than all the others which are presently in the fray. So just because there are too many players already in the playground doesn't stop us from playing the game itself.
Well, okay. Nobody can prevent anybody from contesting. That's not the question at all. But GVL Narasimha Rao, are they forgetting something that if they can't get in? Because if TRS or BRS actually fights on 100 Lok Sabha seats, can they actually defeat the BJP juggernaut? Number one. Number two, if they thought they would have a common plank for many leaders to come together, then Nitish Kumar didn't show up, Sharad Pawar didn't show up, Tejasvi Yadav didn't show up. Rahul Gandhi perhaps was not even invited. Mamata Banerjee wasn't there. Is BRS going to be enough to challenge the BJP? And the other point really being the issue of what do they bring? I mean, will they lure people with freebies on offer, or do they have a plan like the plan of the BJP government, the Modi government, which has played to a plan from Kashmir, the abrogation of Article 370 and Amit Shah going there, having the biggest rally ever in Baramulla, to the Prime Minister talking of bullet trains, talking of and delivering 11 aims in the last 8 years. You know, this is concrete development on the ground.
Thank you, Navika. Let me also join others on the panel in wishing all the viewers a very happy Vijayadashami. I think it's a very important debate to have on such an auspicious day. I think certainly nation's well-being and nation's future certainly lies in adopting sensible policies for development and not simply taking to populism for hoodwinking gullible voters. What we are witnessing, you see, TRS might fancy itself as a national player by merely tinkering with its name, but you already see a whole lot of parties weighing for national stakes, and they have every political party has an ambition, has a right to do so. But certainly, TRS is finding its own ground shaking. Telangana itself, I think, it's a smaller state compared to many other states of the country, and even there, it's almost ordained that TRS will lose to the BJP in coming years' assembly elections. So therefore, their appetite for taking on a national, going for a national mandate might further actually slip their ground from underneath their feet. But coming to the freebies, I think the people of this country certainly want good governance. They want, Honorable Prime Minister has unveiled a vision of making India a developed country in a span of 25 years, where we all need to really understand our rights and responsibilities as citizens. So I think it's important that political parties also understand their rights and responsibilities. I think it's very well for you to hoodwink people by promising anything free, only to lure them to vote for these parties as a shortcut measure. But what this country needs is good governance. We have demonstrated in the last 8 years, Honorable Prime Minister has demonstrated that you can really take a big leap in infrastructure development, in digital revolution, in expanding the social and economic infrastructure, like the aims that you talked about, setting up international status institutes, and you can do all that while you actually provide a lot for the poor of this country. In the last 8 years, you have seen how we have reached out to every family in terms of free gas connections. Every family now has a electricity connection. Every family has a toilet. These are things which ought to have been done in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. So while the Prime Minister has provided for substantial allocations for development, we have also ensured that this future, the future of this country is secured by investing in infrastructure, by investing in sectoral reforms. For example, power sector. In the last 8 years, this sector has received huge thrust because for decades and decades, this sector has been robbed of all viability by coming up with all kinds of free promises, delivering free subsidy, allowing power to be stolen, and sinking all the power distribution companies in losses. And now you see some political parties resorting to the same old story, where they want to give free power, they want to further drown these power companies. Without power, what kind of development can you even conceive?
Exactly my point. And I want to bring in Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh Jindal, I'm not here questioning whether opposition parties have the right, to challenge the BJP or not. Of course, in a democracy, everybody has the right, just like Mr. Rahul Gandhi has the right to do a Bharat Jodo Yatra. So what if his own party is breaking? So what if there has been a spectacle, in the choice of party president? All that is going on, but he's, going ahead with his Bharat Jodo Yatra, and good luck to him. The question here is, what is your plan for India? Because the Prime Minister and his team seem to be playing to a plan. Are there problems in the country? Yes, there are. Is there inflation? Is there, price rise? Is there joblessness? Of course there are. But are you going to get rid of all of this by just floating new parties and trying to get leaders together to challenge Modi? Or do you really have a plan on the table which people of India can look at and say, okay, this plan will solve my infrastructure problem in the country. This plan will solve the employment problem. That's not happening. Whereas it is happening in a planned manner since 2014. Could the pace have been better? Yes, of course. But what has been done has been better than any other government's performance in the last 7 decades. So, Lokesh Jindal, where do you stand?
Good evening, Navika, and wishing you all a happy Dashera. Navika, since you talked that this particular previous decade, the government has functioned exceptionally well. Now let me bring my argument forward with certain data. The World Bank, it stated that from 2004 till 2014, the poverty reduction rate was 2.5%, which reduced down to 2011 till 2018, the poverty reduction rate reduced from 2.5% to 1.3%. And because of demonetization, there was an increase in poverty rate by 2%. And that was one of the major reasons for the government not to publish the NSSO report in 2017 and 2018. Now another data. In 2011-12, the gross saving rate was 34% and investment rate was 36%. Recently, the gross saving rate has reduced down to 28% and the investment rate is only 29%. The credit creation, which has increased to 15%, is based upon a deposit which is meager as 9%. The point is, when the economy is at such a situation, why is it that the inequality index shows that the 10% of the population in India is appropriating more than 50% of the resources, and the remaining 50% of the poor, they are living in bare subsistence? It is not the percentage of growth, but the pattern of growth which is very important. BJP is only talking about GDP. BJP is only talking about the percentage rise in GDP. But what about the pattern of growth rate that is happening? In India, there has been concentration of wealth in the hands of few. There has been unemployment. There is inflation. The entire country knows. And when we talk about the present day context, the government is without any form of a plan so as to reduce this inequality. Yes, he is showing me some data based upon rupee. The rupee has devalued. Now, when the rupee devalues, we already know that the energy prices increase and it harms.
Read the text. I don't know what this is extreme poverty in India has declined during the India rule.
Let me give you some other textual data as well, sir.
This is World Bank data, World Bank report.
Didn't you refuse to qualify? No, just tell me, didn't you refuse to publish the 2017-18 NSSO report?
No, you are quoting World Bank
Please
data.
tell me.
I'm showing you a World Bank report.
The World Bank report, I'll show you myself, sir.
No. The World Bank report said extreme poverty has declined by 12 points.
Sir, the rate I'm talking about, the rate of poverty reduction. The rate of poverty reduction. The rate of poverty reduction from 2004 till 2014 was 2.5% during the time period of UPA.
People. Stop misleading people.
Sir, if I am lying on this television, you can sue me. You can put me behind bars. I am ready to take the owner's responsibility. One fact is wrong. You please put me behind bars.
No,
if a single fact that I stated is wrong, you may please put me behind bars.
This is just a fact check. This is hardly a few
I
days old.
I am also putting all my facts. I have done a factual...
So Lokesh Jindal, he is talking about reduction of extreme poverty. The point here is that you can quote data, you can quote different data. The issue really here is not about quoting data. The issue really here is that there are problems, but what is your plan to solve the problem? Is it only citing data? And Smita Prakash, that's where I want you to come in. 1 minute, Lokesh Jindal, hold on. Smita Prakash, that's why I want you to now tell us. There is data. The opposition keeps saying everything is bad. You know, andhakar mein hai pura jeevan, and everybody is living in this pall of gloom in India, and everything is going to just come apart maybe tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, then day after tomorrow. That's the vision of India that the opposition gives us. I want to ask you, all this is fine, but who's giving the solutions to the people of India?
Exactly. You know, Mr. Jindal gives this litany that he has. Fine. Even for a brief moment, if we were to believe every data that you quote and what Mr. Rahul Gandhi says, is there any document that you people bring out to say that we will change all this? Nothing. There is nothing. That all through this Bharat Jodo has been only homilies, only saying कि हम लोगों को जोड़ेंगे, दिलों को जोड़ेंगे, the idea of India, these kind of esoteric terms, which is fine if you're addressing a think tank. Go ahead, do your Bharat Jodo. The other thing, Mr. Jindal, is that nobody goes to jail in this country for quoting facts or misquoting facts. So you can, to say this, meko jail mein dalo and all that, this victim mentality doesn't work anymore. If you're playing to the gallery, even those people are not buying this game anymore, that, aapko jail mein dalenge because on a TV show you misquoted something. Chalega, just enjoy your Vijay Dashmi today. On the thing about KCR, which, all of you pointed out that, a new party, fine. He's, floated supposedly, with this national ambitions and things like that. But to have a national party is a long process. Just because you bring Rashtra in your name doesn't make you a national party. If that was the case, we would have many more national parties in this country. We just have BJP, Indian National Congress, BSP, CPI, CPIM and TNC. These are the only national parties we have. So if KCR is now going to think in terms of a national ambition, and I think the spokesperson said Southern identity-centric party. Now, if it's a Southern identity-centric party, then he's not taking on the BJP. I mean, if I mean he as in like he providing the leadership to a united opposition, then it's not taking on the BJP, because I think it is taking on the Congress. Because if you see the Bharat Jodo Yatra, it's not going, I mean, it's skipping 18 states, and most of those 18 states are, I think, the northeastern and eastern, and there are these 7 Hindi-speaking states where the Congress has just decided हम जो भारत जोड़ने का काम ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, because they don't have organizational capacity in those states. So I think for 2024, if Bharat Jodo is a leitmotif for 2024, it's quite clear that it is a Southern identity and a Southern-centric party that the Congress is becoming, south of the Deccan and avoiding the Eastern altogether. So, I think if KCR is doing this, and it's the Congress which is going to be worried with KCR's move, not so much the BJP. It's for the number 2 position and not the number 1 position.
Karthik, Reddy, respond. And if you have to go into this with offers of liquor and, a little bit of chicken, then it just shows that, there isn't really a plan other than Revdi, freebies. Today something to eat and tomorrow something more.
See, I've been seeing this on media from last night. Certain gentlemen, certain very small-time karyakarta of TRS party, overzealous, tried to do something yesterday in Warangal, and we do not, I don't know, this was blown out of proportion beyond its own proportions. We do not recognize that person. We do not know who he is, yet he was overzealous. And you trying to pin that on the TRS party and our policies is kind of very whimsical. And point number 2, Ms. Smita kind of pointed out, when we meant Southern identity, we did not say we would relegate ourselves to the South. All national parties have some identities, and we are proud to say we are from the South. We identify ourselves as South Indians. Just because being identified as South Indian doesn't mean we would not fare well in North India. If that is the case, then India itself has
so then Karthik Reddy, why not? We are all Indians, and we are, vying for our right to be a pan-India face or a pan-India party. Why do you have to be a South Indian, an East Indian, a West Indian, or a North Indian? I mean, why create the walls where there are none?
Can you go ask Modi ji today whether he is not a Gujarati? Well, that is what he is primarily.
That's the BJP.
Then primarily we are our own identity. We own our own identity, and we try to be a national leaders, and there is nothing wrong in it. Just identifying ourselves to be from the South should not be a speed breaker of sorts for us to step into national politics. And point number 3, I was just hearing Narasimha Rao Garu speak. I want to understand what's bravery, because when we speak about free power, and we all know, Navika, that Telangana is one of the few states we give 24 hours free power to our farmers. It is not subsidized at any level. It is completely free. So when we speak about the free power being stopped if ever BJP comes to power in Telangana, our regional leaders here come come up to the press and say, "Nahi, when we come to power, free power is going to be here. All the other schemes going to be here." So please define what's revdi for BJP. Are you picking your
Narasimha Rao,
Are you saying
the point he's making, the point is he's making is that everybody gives free power and so do you. So if they give free power, you call it free ki revdi, and when you give it, it's supposed to be extremely noble cause that you do it for. Respond to Mr. Dharma. Respond to Mr. Karthik Reddy.
Navika, we do not give free power, to the best of my knowledge, in any state, for even for the power sector. So, but if you indeed consider that as an important, I'm not denying that in some states or in some situations one might consider that, but you have to make provision for it. The real problem is states like Punjab, for instance, which has given free power. What is the fiscal position of Punjab? What is the fiscal position of Telangana? When the state was bifurcated as Telangana and Andhra, Telangana was a revenue surplus state. Today it is in financial doldrums. If you give free power, have you accounted for this? Have you paid all the power tariff that is being supplied to the farmers? Have you provided for it in the budget? Today, this is what Election Commission of India is asking the political parties. If you today, this is what all the papers have reported. If you want to make any promise of anything free, please tell us what are the budget implications of it. How are you going to find that money? And how will you keep within the fiscal discipline? How will you conform to the FRBM limits? I think it's high time. I think I welcome the decision of the Election Commission of India to make political parties accountable to their electorate, because otherwise you can simply deceive them. And when you come to power, you will say, okay, we need more money from the central government to give everything free to our people. When you are promising to people, you should be able to pay for it.
So fair point, Dr. Akashdeep Muni, fair point, but that is the model that the Aam Aadmi Party follows. The state's finances in Punjab, as pointed out by Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, are in a very, very precarious situation. Yet free this, free power, free that, and ultimately nothing is free. Everybody's got to pay for it. It depends on which pocket you take out of and which pocket do you put it into. And that is the question that is now being asked, Mr. Muni. So how, can there be an election platform that talks about addressing problems, not just talking about hum free ye denge, free wo denge, and okay, give us votes, tata bye bye.
Navika, very good example. First of all, the best thing is that 10 years ago, BJP and Shiromani Akali Dal came in power in Punjab. The education was poor, the health was poor, and they dragged the economy to 2 lakh crores debt. Then people of Punjab thought that, okay, let's bring Congress Party. They brought Congress Party came, they dragged the economy to 3.5 lakh debt, half lakh crore debt. And today, the situation Aam Aadmi Party has come. And see, Navika, in Aam Aadmi Party will provide free education, good education, free electricity, and with that, they will be dragging this economy, Punjab's economy, out of debt in coming 4.5 years. The best example of comparison is Gujarat education model. Go to Vadodara, which is the constituency of Gujarat education minister, where the education is in doldrums. There are a number of examples of that. Apart from that also, their Gujarat model has brought Gujarat state into 3.5 lakh crore debt, while Delhi has no debt of that sort. This shows clear example. Performance, not revdi, will bring people into power. And trust me, if they have done a very good job in their own field, BJP, Aam Aadmi Party would have never come into power.
Why don't you give a proprietary model? Smita Prakash, if there is such a model that can help every single state, I think you should have the patent for it, but also share it with other states, because ultimately this is India. Smita Prakash, don't you think the Aam Aadmi Party should be able to do that?
They should be able to do that. Let's see. And frankly, I think Gujarat elections will prove it, whether that model that, that Aam Aadmi Party has been tom-tomming in Gujarat, whether if you get wiped out completely, which is what opinion polls, maybe 1.5 months early, but if that is what the opinion polls are, then they are not buying your Delhi model. Firstly, to compare Delhi with Gujarat is also not right. The funds that you get in Delhi, the fact that it is just a city-state and you compare it with the size of Gujarat, no, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. The other point is about this, what GVLN was saying was about this fiscal credibility of these promises that are made, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is the Congress, whether it is any party that goes to elections and makes this revdi which you are talking about, with these promises that people make from Garibi Hatao times. There have been, from the 70s, there have been promises made to the electorate, and they have not been verified to see whether we have the fiscal credibility, whether we have the fiscal capability to make those promises come true, whether we can deliver on those promises. It's never happened. And there is a high degree of subjectivity in all this involved. And we leave it to, so far in democracy, we have left it in our system of democracy, we've left it to the voters to decide whether there is any credibility to that promise. And if they do not ascribe any credibility to that promise, that fiscal credibility, they don't believe in it, they are wiped out in the election. And that is the reason when these kind of freebies have been promised by many parties, but they have not believed in it. People have not. But for example, Navika, when it came to Yogi's election last time, people just did not believe the people who went to cover the election said, "Arey, Yogi will not win. There is no question because nobody comes back." What did the voters say? That these promises which the BJP is making, they delivered on it the previous time. So they will deliver on it when they said.
That's the difference. That is the difference. And I want to do a quick, round with the panelists tonight. And Karthik Reddy, I want to ask you, it is this plan which you put before the people of India that decides what votes you're going to get? Because are you only going to make an election out of criticizing Modi and the BJP, or are you going to give a different model for the people to choose from? Unless you're able to do that, where is the credibility of any front or any opponent to the Modi model?
Now, Kaji, we should remember today that TRS party, as BRS from today, is a party which has come back to power twice in Telangana. First, when it came to power the first time, maybe it was on the plank of the Telangana movement and Telangana state sentiment. But the second time, it was because we delivered on our promise and people believed and trusted that, yes, TRS party...
National level delivery?
Yes,
national level delivery?
I'm coming there, Navika. So as Mr. Modi ji, when he became the Prime Minister in 2014, when he put forward the Gujarat model, we're going to put forward the Telangana model to the nation too. You remember, Navika ji, Telangana is the state where we gave out 60,000 crores to poor farmers in the last 4 years. And we talk about poverty alleviation, there is no other state better than Telangana. When we talk about power, we have doubled our installed capacity in the last 8 years. And there are many milestones. I can go on with Hyderabad, I can go on with our irrigation, I can go on with our women. There are many things that we are very proud of. And I believe India also should see what the Telangana
Then
model
why
is.
in 2019, despite the rout in the state elections of 2018, did the BJP win 17 seats in Telangana? Why?
Sorry, Navika, there are only 17 seats in Telangana. You meant 4.
Oh yeah, four in Telangana.
Navika, out of 17, winning 4 is no big number. It might be because of the regional consequences in those constituencies. And it might be of many other,
including the Chief Minister's daughter's constituency.
Maybe I strongly pin it on the regional consequences only. Nizamabad seat was lost because of our regional consequences, not because Kavitaka or because of TRS party. It didn't happen because of that.
GVL Narasimha Rao. GVL Narasimha Rao.
Navika, TRS is trying to transform into BRS. Bharat Rashtra Samiti, but voters of Telangana are going to give it a VRS because they will certainly give them rest and retire them after next year's elections. I see our friend Karthik was talking about Telangana, how they are greatly running their economy. Let me show this. This is the latest report on what this free power that he so grandly talked about. Free power for electricity. Telangana power discoms trip in ranks, slip from bad to worse. This is Times of India dated 14th August 22. They have gone from bad to worse because of your free power for farmers has really landed discoms in such deep distress. You have not paid for the subsidy or for the free power that you formed. This is exactly what the Election Commission, this is the concern they're highlighting. This is what Honorable Prime Minister has been talking about. This is what Supreme Court has expressed its fears about. You want to give everything for free, but you will not be accounting for it. Delhi, I think they have a huge Delhi, many of us who live in Delhi, we know how Delhi government gets substantial allocation of funds in excess of any other urban netizen citizen in this country. So they have simply been lucky with having Delhi on their side. But let us see how they will bring Punjab from brink to back.
Mr. Muni, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Mr. Muni, respond.
You know one thing. Navika, remember, you ignore, with all respect, I want to tell to BJP that you ignore the common man of this country. The common man will ignore you. You have increased the petrol prices. You have increased the cylinder prices. You have increased repo rates so that loans are harsher on the common man.
My friend, state governments have the power to reduce the excise duty, which you didn't do.
I'm talking about the repo rate.
But
Delhi prices are one of the highest. Delhi prices of petrol, diesel are the highest.
What I'm saying, petrol in Punjab costs 96 rupees. Petrol in Mumbai costs 106 rupees. 10 rupees higher, sir. So remember, your figures will, with all respect, I have all the figures.
Narika, I need to come in for a minute, please.
And you can ignore the common man.
Lokesh Jindal, once again, the ball is in the court of the Congress party. Is the Congress party now vying for bringing its position down from the number 2 to the BJP to somewhere lower down, 4, 7, 8, 10, because that's the way it's working out for you. You have only 2 states, and we've seen the tamasha that went on in Rajasthan. It's still currently on with Sachin Pilot in Delhi and all sorts of statements being made. We are still sitting here wondering what's happening to the president elections and Congress president elections, and forget about an alternative plan of solutions to offer to the voters for 2024. That's a far cry.
Navika, before I answer your question, I would like to I would like to say that it is the BJP which is the originator of this revdi culture. Because in 2014, the Prime Minister not just gave a revdi but a complete meva that every account holder will be getting 15 lakh rupees in their accounts after BJP comes to power. वो काला धन वापस आएगा and then अच्छे दिन मुंगेरी लाल के हसीन सपने 1 crore jobs, they have to be seen nowhere. Nobody is questioning that.
लेकिन फिर भी 2019 में वो वापस आए तो कुछ तो होगा बॉस, तो कुछ तो होगा.
अफीम जो है, वो जो अफीम है कम्युनलाइजेशन की, it won't work a long way. I mean, there is the people they will get up from their seat.
So Smita Prakash, he says there is no performance, there is only an apheme of communalization. Is that what is making the BJP win?
No, this is exactly why people reject the Congress, because spokespersons like this come and insult the voters' intelligence to believe that the voters elect anybody because they are casteist or communal. Please, for heaven's sake, don't say this, that it is, this is exactly why Hillary Clinton lost, because she called them the deplorables. She said, put it in a basket of deplorables. That's exactly what you're doing. insulting the voter. This is exactly what
we are
Rahul
not insulting the voters. We are exposing your political narrative that you put
exactly
forth in
what
the
Rahul
country.
Gandhi is
We are
doing on this
exposing the
Bharat
subversion
Yatra
of democracy
to
that
get
is
those
taking
people
place in the
to say
country.
that they
We are
matter,
exposing
and
the
instead
narrative
you
which
come
has
here
divided the
and you are insulting the
No, but he's also hobnobbing with the hate ones. He's also hobnobbing with those 8 people. And the question is, Mr. Lokesh Jindal, I just want to ask you, your definition of secularism, well, it died a very, very silent death in 2014. Nobody is buying your definition of secularism anymore. So please, this definition and this difference and this whole pitch of communalism versus secularism, if this is the pitch that you're going to continue to bat on, then let's just say amen to your politics and your roadmap in 2024. Well, as far as the people of India are concerned, they see a BJP which has a plan of action, a plan for infrastructure, a plan for upgrading defense, a plan for upgrading technology, a plan for Invest India, and a plan that will make an Atmanirbhar India. And of course, along with all of this is the pride that India has got as a nation in world fora. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a tough cocktail for the opposition to just depend on rhetoric and defeat. Will they have a plan, a new plan to attack? Well, TRS to BRS, which Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao called also VRS, that's going to have tough competition. Simply because you've got to give much more than just Modi hate and secularism as a plank. Is that really the challenge for the opposition in 2024? Let's wait and watch. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat today warned against forces trying to break India and flagged the threat to Sanatan Dharma. At the annual Dussehra rally in Nagpur, Bhagwat said that the forces which are inimical to Bharat's unity and progress are spreading fake narratives, anarchy, fomenting terror and conflict and unrest in the society. The RSS chief, during his speech, referred to attacks on Hindus and spoke of the Udaipur incident wherein a tailor was hacked to death and his video shared on social media. Bhagwat said that a particular community can't be held responsible for the crime and urged wider population to speak up against such hate attacks. Listen.
दूसरे प्रकार की जो बाधा है, सनातन मूल्यों का क्षरण न हो, ये देखकर चलते समय और भी एक बाधा है, वो बाहर से आती है, जो भारतवर्ष की प्रगति को होने नहीं देना चाहते। उसलिए भारतवर्ष के समाज में किसी प्रकार का सद्भाव, सामंजस्य जो नहीं चाहते, जिनके स्वार्थों को मार मिलेगी ऐसा उनको डर लगता है, ऐसा होने से वो सारी शक्तियां बाधा उत्पन्न करती है। उधर उदयपुर में, इधर अमरावती में और भी जगह बहुत जघन्य क्रूरता वाली घटनाएं हुई। मुस्लिमों के भी कुछ प्रमुख लोगों ने इसका विरोध किया, उसको गैर इस्लामिक बताया। अन्याय, असत्य, अत्याचार, आतंक के खिलाफ ऐसे ही खड़ा होना चाहिए, ये अपवाद न रहे। हिंदू समाज में ये मुखरता है, ऐसी घटनाएं घटती है तो कोई हिंदू भी आरोपित है उसका भी निषेध करते, उसके खिलाफ बोलते। हम विश्व में सर्वत्र और सबके साथ भाईचारा, भद्रता और शांति के पक्ष में सदा रहे, लेकिन लोग डराते, अरे संघ वाले मारेंगे और ये हिंदू संगठन होगा ना तो सबको बाहर जाना पड़ेगा, ये हवा फैलाते हैं। ऐसा कुछ डर मन में है और है इसलिए उसका निराकरण करने की इच्छा मन में लेकर तथाकथित अल्पसंख्यक समाज के कुछ बंधु पिछले वर्षों में हमसे मिलते रहे हैं और हम भी मिले हैं, हमारे प्रमुख अधिकारी उनसे मिले हैं।
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate with GVL Narasimha Rao and Lokesh Jindal are Subhrashta, author and founder of The Churn, and Danish Qureshi, political analyst. And Danish Qureshi, intolerance can't be a one-way street. After all, hate has to be condemned on both sides. How come Kanhaiya's murder on video in Udaipur found very few condemnations? In fact, the entire community of human beings in India should have condemned it. But no, Sar Tan Se Juda has almost become a kind of an anthem in some places among some people, and there isn't enough opposition that is coming in from within the minority community to say ये गलत है, मॉब लिंचिंग होती है वो गलत है, उसमें हिंदू मुसलमान सिख ईसाई नहीं हो सकता, वो गलत है, एंड ऑफ स्टोरी। इस मुद्दे पर आप इसको गलत क्यों नहीं ठहराते हैं, कम आवाजें क्यों आती हैं, ये सवाल है।
देखिए नाविका, प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि संघ को तो हर उस इंसिडेंट पे आवाज बुलंद चाहिए जो कहीं ना कहीं एंटी माइनॉरिटी पिक्चर बनाने के लिए उनको काम में लगती है। मैं आपको कल की बात बताता हूं, गुजरात के खेड़ा में गरबा में पथराव करने वाले जो आरोपी थे उनको गुजरात की पुलिस ने जिस तरीके से सांप्रदायिक रुख अपना के मारा, क्या मोहन भागवत जी ने उसका कंडेम किया? आपको पता है पब्लिक प्लेस पे लाके उनको मारा और दूसरी तरफ की कम्युनिटी के जो लोग थे उनके पास से मतलब जैसे चेयर अप करवाया जा रहा था, जय श्री राम के नारे लगाए जा रहे थे। व्हाट इज दिस?
किसी को भी
व्हाई दिस इज बीन नॉट कंडेम्ड बाय मिस्टर भागवत?
Nobody is allowed to take law into their own hands, but let's get a sense of proportion.
Yes, absolutely. These are the crocodile tears. आप यही कहेंगे कि nobody is allowed it. The same response is from me that the incident in Udaipur, nobody is supporting that incident. That is the true fact. But what is in the heart of RSS? That is the main thing. In Bet Dwarka, more than 15 shrines are being demolished by the administration without any prior notice, without the order of the Nagar Palika. They are doing anti-constitutional demolition drive. Why did Mohan Bhagwat didn't condemn that? Why did Mohan Bhagwat ji didn't condemn the incident of Murad Sayyid Baba Dargah in Porbandar demolished in the early morning 3 a.m.? Why this has been done?
GVL Narasimha Rao.
Did Mohan Bhagwat ji condemn that?
GVL Narasimha Rao, respond to Mr. Danish Qureshi.
These are the number of issues.
I think it is this kind of senseless.
And they.
Can you?
Danish Qureshi ji जवाब दे रहे हैं. Just hold on for a minute. Allow Mr. Narasimha Rao to respond to you. Allow him to respond to you. Allow him to respond to you, Danish Qureshi ji.
Navika ji, see, Honorable Navika ji, in today's speech, Sarsang Chalakji has given a message of unity. And look at the language that Mr. Qureshi is speaking on the show. Sarsang Chalak, what did he say? He said, we have to stay together and we have to act, we have to speak against all such acts of violence, all such acts of barbarism. But then there is some kind of a mindset in this country, mainly fueled by some political parties. I think this has also become a sort of appeasement. Minority appeasement. If Hindus are killed, if they are killed in a brutal manner, if they are beheaded, it is somehow justified. It is considered a pujari who is killed in Karnataka hacked to death. It's justified because he belonged to a particular ideology. If a tailor is hacked to death in Jaipur, Haryana, or in Rajasthan, it is justified. I think please Sarsan Chalakji said we have to stay together and condemn all acts of violence. And while what are you doing on this show today? You're again trying to really play a victim card, while trying not to. Why don't you condemn all acts of such barbarism against Hindus? Just as the way I would condemn all acts of violence against Muslims. Please do it, Mr. Qureshi. Please say, I condemn all acts of violence against Hindu brethren. Please say that. Even if they belong to Hindu ideology, RSS ideology, what's wrong about it? I have no hesitation in saying it, but you would run away from debate. Because you want to justify violence against Hindus.
Well, we lost his link there. Lokesh Jindal. You know, that is the issue. That is the issue, that when it comes to condemning something like this, we always have caveats. Can there be a caveat to the incident of Kanhaiya in Udaipur? Can there be a caveat? I mean, it is unacceptable, period. And the way it was filmed, I've never seen anything as scary and grotesque as that. I mean, then where is the difference between human beings and maybe animals? Even animals probably show more restraint. So I'm asking you, can you quote a few incidents that happen and then say, oh, India has become intolerant? Bhai, to ye bhi to intolerance tha na? Condemn this also.
Yes, I agree, Navika. All forms of violence, whether it is lynching of Muslims by Gau Sevaks, Gau Rakshaks, whether it is some form of a incident like Kanhaiya's assassination, they are all horrible. They are a slap to the society, and in fact, that is not the way a civilized society ought to function. They are to be condemned. But the point is, when a leader such as Mohan Bhagwat ji, when he comes on the stage, such a national leader, and he selectively pinpoints one incident and he ignores other incidents. Now, this is like painting a picture which is showing only one side of the coin, one side of the story. Now, he also needs to make the society aware that let us be tolerant, let us observe tolerance from all angles. Let the Muslims be safeguarded, Hindus be safeguarded, Sikh, every community, people from any religion, caste, race, region, everywhere, they must feel that they are secure within the politico-administrative legal system of the country. That's what is expected from a leader of such a stature. But when such a leader, he becomes selective and points out only one incident, it is like creating a narration. It is like creating a picture.
Subrashta, did you find Mohan Bhagwat ji's speech as selective, quoting only one incident, or was it really talking about across the board condemnation of such incidents, and picked up this because there wasn't enough condemnation of this particular incident by the entire community? And number two, Sartan Se Juda has virtually become an anthem, so to speak, in the minority community, and it is gaining now dangerous proportions.
Navika ji, first of all, Dashera greetings to everybody. As we celebrate this really historic and celebratory day today, let us remember that what Mohan Bhagwat ji said today is what majority of India feels. It's from the pulse of people that he drew, whatever tenets his speeches contained, they're all drawn from the pulse of people. Now, there have been questions asked about why an isolated incident was mentioned. You have very clearly said, you've very clearly elucidated why. I would just put another context to it. Please remember, during the time when the whole Kanhaiya Lal incident happened, there was a point in time in India's political history when riots were being inflamed, and consciously, it was as if a conscious curation of these incidents were happening in different parts of the country. We will never forget what happened in Kanpur, preceding Friday, exactly after Kanhaiya Lal's death. We can never forget what happened in Haryana. We'll never forget what was about to happen on the streets of Delhi. So this is not an incident which was cherry-picked. This was an incident which had really polarized society on multiple counts. And RSS, as the world's largest, non-government run organization, I think has every right to comment on an incident which had such epic proportions. Now today also on this very show, what Mr. Danish said is extremely, sir, I'm not yet done and I did not intervene when you were speaking. Please respect women. As Mohan Bhagwat ji said, allow me an equal opportunity. 3 men have spoken on the show. No, sir, you are not the moderator of the show, sir. If you were the moderator, I wouldn't have done.
Please do not interrupt. Please do not interrupt.
No, I'm really sorry, Navika ji. If he doesn't shut up, I can't speak.
No, you carry on. I'm lowering the faders. I'm lowering everyone else's faders. Nobody's voice will be drowned here. Subhrashta ji, carry on.
Yes, an extremely ludicrous equivalence was drawn between something that has happened in Gujarat, which is equally, worrisome, and it needs condemnation from all sections of society. What happened in Gujarat with respect to the incident that was mentioned by Mr. Danish. But Mr. Danish, please remember that when you are comparing these two incidents, it's like comparing apples and oranges. There was a tailor from a lower middle class community who was actually lynched over live camera, and here we are talking about another incident which has a precedent. Of course the police, one can question the role of the police and how it behaved in front of a whole motley crowd, but then the point is that the people who were being incarcerated on the streets were not innocent people either. They had created ruckus at Garba at that Garba festivity. So please let us, when you start comparing things, at least apply your brain. Put facts in perspective.
Danish Qureshi, you want to respond to that? You want to respond to that, Danish Qureshi?
Yes, why not? Yes. Yes, why not?
So what do you have to say?
Now, first of all, Mr. Subhrashta is talking about that the people, those who are beaten in public, they were the accused. Can Subhrashta ji show me a single judgment when court has convicted any accused and told the police to go the beat in public place? What rubbish he is talking on national channel? These are the people those who are penetrating hatred in the society.
That's not what she is saying.
They are being charged.
We started with condemning.
She
started with condemning the police taking law into their own hands.
Exactly. She talked if and but, and after that she was talking that they were not innocent people. If they were not innocent, then it is the
auditory
remember one thing.
Now this
don't interrupt Subhrashta. Nobody was interrupting you. Subhrashta, nobody interrupt you. Nobody interrupt you. Don't do like those. Don't do like this.
Danish Qureshi. 1 minute, allow me to come in. I'm running out of time. The question here is, are we twisting facts to make it sound like what suits our narrative? Is that what is being done about the Kheda incident? And is this deliberately being raked up to show that, well, one community is being targeted more than the others? Well, the question here is, when Udaipur and Kanhaiya's incident are taken up, remember, that happened on live camera, and that is not about communities. That is about human beings and whether we really are a race higher than animals. The question is, we don't have to prove this with our religion being worn on our sleeves. This has to be proved on whether we are humans at all or not. And that's where we should think about. If we are talking about intolerance, then please don't make it a one-way street and don't compare the incomparables. For us, the fabric of India is destroyed when we make these differences. Because for me, Mr. Danish Qureshi is as much a fellow Indian as Subhrashta ji. They come from different backgrounds, they come from different religions, they come from different states, but then that's the beauty of India. Why do we forget this? Why can't we remind ourselves about this often enough? It's the only thing that we're asking on the Newshour tonight. Thank you very much to all my panelists, and thank you viewers for joining me on this joyous Dussehra Day. Good night, be safe.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back.
For decision makers, for the opinionated, for the unsure, for dinner time debaters, from metro stations to living rooms.
We present the facts and help India make a judgment. From stories that shake the nation to opinions that shape them. I delve deep into the biggest news of the day and uncover every fact, every source, and every statement through debate and discussion. Get a 360-degree perspective on every story and get a conclusive closure. Join me, Navika Kumar, on the Newshour at 9, only on Times Now.
बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए खतरा में।
नहीं हेमंत
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए कि राधे राधे कल राखी सावंत का ऑल्सो बिकम। बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. A very, very warm greeting to all of our viewers on the occasion of Vijay Dashmi. Today, addressing the annual Dussehra event in Nagpur, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat warned the country against forces who are seeking to break up India and disrupt its peace and harmony. He said that such forces are creating a fake narrative to foment terror, conflict and social unrest in a bid to pit different sections of society against each other. The RSS chief also referred to a hate attack on Hindus, the first time ever that he has brought up the issue after repeated instances of Sanatan Juda cries being given, of at least 2 murders taking place in Akola and in Udaipur only because of a perceived affront to religion. In particular, Mohan Bhagwat reminded people of the Udaipur incident where a tailor was hacked to death and the video of the horrific crime was shared online. He made it clear that no particular community as a whole can be taken as the root cause for such incidents, but also pointed out that only a few prominent Muslims had spoken up against the hate attack.
दूसरे प्रकार की जो बाधा है, सनातन मूल्यों का क्षरण न हो, ये देखकर चलते समय और भी एक बाधा है, वो बाहर से आती है, जो भारतवर्ष की प्रगति को होने नहीं देना चाहते। उसलिए भारतवर्ष के समाज में किसी प्रकार का सद्भाव, सामंजस्य जो नहीं चाहते, जिनके स्वार्थों को मार मिलेगी ऐसा उनको डर लगता है, ऐसा होने से वो सारी शक्तियां बाधा उत्पन्न करती है। उधर उदयपुर में, इधर अमरावती में और भी जगह बहुत जघन्य क्रूरता वाली घटनाएं हुई। मुस्लिमों के भी कुछ प्रमुख लोगों ने इसका विरोध किया, उसको गैर इस्लामिक बताया। अन्याय, असत्य, अत्याचार, आतंक के खिलाफ ऐसे ही खड़ा होना चाहिए, ये अपवाद न रहे। हिंदू समाज में ये मुखरता है ऐसी घटनाएं घटती है तो कोई हिंदू भी आरोपित है उसका भी निषेध करते, उसके खिलाफ बोलते। हम विश्व में सर्वत्र और सबके साथ भाईचारा, भद्रता और शांति के पक्ष में सदा रहे, लेकिन लोग डराते, अरे संघ वाले मारेंगे, अरे हिंदू संगठन होगा ना तो सबको बाहर जाना पड़ेगा, ये हवा फैलाते हैं। ऐसा कुछ डर मन में है, और है इसलिए उसका निराकरण करने की इच्छा मन में लेकर तथाकथित अल्पसंख्यक समाज के कुछ बंधु पिछले वर्षों में हमसे मिलते रहे हैं, और हम भी मिले हैं, हमारे प्रमुख अधिकारी उनसे मिले हैं।
Meanwhile, BJP leader and former Rajya Sabha MP Subramaniam Swamy also welcomed Bhagwat's speech, flagging a threat to Sanatan Dharma.
I 100% endorse it. I mean, what is it that we are saying? That for 1,000 years we were suppressed. The Hindus were suppressed. The Muslims first suppressed us, and then the British suppressed us to their Christianity. And now we want a renaissance in our religion. All these caste divisions and all, they are not based on birth. You have to just read the Gita to know that Varna is not based on birth. So we want a renaissance in Hinduism. And you go on making everything as fascism, as Hitlerism, and so on and so forth. I think he is absolutely right.
But naturally, this message of reaching out to all communities, warning against certain sections of society trying to create a divide in society, didn't really impress the opposition. They said that while Bhagwat has called for amity and unity, the reality on the ground is very, very different. Because remember, while Mohan Bhagwat called out a threat to Sanatan and hate attack on Hindus, the opposition spoke of the Khera flogging video, where those who were accused of pelting stones at Navratri celebrations were tied to a pole and beaten by the police. The video shows those accused of pelting stones being flogged publicly. Sharing the video, AMIM chief Azuddin Owaisi slammed what he called mass radicalization and hypocrisy.
देखिए, गुजरात में पुलिस द्वारा पेड़ से बांध के आरोपी युवकों को भीड़ के सामने कबीलाई कानून की तरह सजा देने की घटना सामने आई है, जिसकी समाजवादी पार्टी निंदा करती है। हम भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार से मांग करते हैं कि देश में बाबा साहब का संविधान लागू है, नफरत की राजनीति को छोड़े और दोषियों पे सख्त कार्रवाई करें।
These kind of incidents happen, it's happening because there is state sanction. How is it that these people are able to do this with such impunity? If people themselves take law into their own hands, there is state sanction for this kind of activity. We have seen the Gaurakshaks, how they behave, how they have killed and assaulted innocent people. Innocent people have died.
Barbaric act of police we have seen in many times, in many parts. Our police is not modernized and democratized. Since the legacy of our imperialist days, police, they think they are like this imperialist boss.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
So the question is very simple. Will this message on Dussehra end the evil and bring together people? Joining us on the debate, Kapil Madan lawyer, Tausifur Rahman, political analyst, advocate Syed Hasanul Haq, lawyer Sanjeev Unyal. But my first question is to national spokesperson of the BJP, Sanju Verma. On the one hand, you have Khera, Sanju Verma, where men are being tied and flogged, and on the other, the RSS chief talks about unity and happiness and peace. How can that be?
Yeah. Padmaja, first and foremost, very auspicious and happy Vijay Dashmi to you and all your viewers. You're looking very pretty.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Thank you. Coming to what you asked, nobody, I've been on, I think, zillions of debates on your channel, and I say this, no party with any particular ideological bearing should condone any form of vigilantism or violence. And I completely, condemn what happened at Kheda. But I would also like to tell the opposition through your channel and your show that one swallow does not make it a summer, because let's not forget that this is the very opposition. For instance, let's talk about the Congress. Be it the Hashimpura riots of 1987, be it the Bhagalpur riots of 1989, be it the Muzaffarnagar riots of 2013, be it the Azad Maidan riots of 2012, be it the Bhatta Parsol violence of 2011, or for that matter, look at TMC, be it the Malda violence of 2015, be it the Bhadodia violence of 2016, be it the Asansol violence of 2018, be it the Jadavpur riots of 2019, be it the Sitakulchi riots of 2021. If you talk about the major opposition parties, be it a Trinamool Congress or the so-called grand old party, the Congress, they have not covered themselves in glory. Whereas in the case of BJP, I can say with a lot of confidence and responsibility that the number of incidents of communal violence, widespread communal violence in the last 8 years under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi have been at their lowest in post-independent India. And this is not Sanju Verma saying it. If you see through the records of National, Crime Records Bureau and other agencies which track communal violence, this will be borne out. I think we need to focus on the larger point made by Mohan Bhagwat. He spoke of social cohesion, brotherhood, amity, peace, inclusivity, and he also said that we should be aware of certain elements which are indulging in scaremongering to create a divide between minorities and the Hindu community. So I am not surprised that the opposition has latched on very selectively to a few words from his overall speech, and they are now trying to make merry on that.
Okay, let's open this up. Kapil Madan, let's start by talking about just the Kheda episode, which everyone is talking about, saying, look, this is new India, this is Modi's India, this is how Muslims are being treated, while conveniently forgetting that these same people, which is not to say that this flogging was allowed. Those policemen must be suspended, those policemen must be acted against. But not a single person who condemned the Kheda flogging bothered to mention that these people had pelted stones on a peaceful Navratri celebration, leaving over 40 people injured, including an aged lady who's critical.
So Padmaja ji, let me first respond to our panelist, Ms. Sanju Verma. She made a mention that hate crimes have gone down under the leadership of Mr. Modi, and every kind of violence needs to be condemned. So I ask a very clear and very simple questions to her. Their own minister, cabinet minister Anurag Thakur, was openly making a statement, "Goli maro salo ko." So I just ask a question here, plain and simple: does she condemn that statement or not?
Okay, answer Sanju Verma.
Yes or no?
Answer Sanju Verma.
Plain simple, yes or no?
Kapil Madan has asked a very pointed question, and I will give a very pointed response. I am not going to be apologetic. Anurag Thakur, when he made that statement of, Goli maro, whatever ko, desh ke gaddaro ko, I want to ask you one thing. Have you forgotten the context in which he made that statement? Desh ke gaddaro ko aap kya karna chahte ho? Unki aarti utari jaye? You want to applaud them? Why are you an apologist for violence? Why are you an apologist for anti-national elements?
Now I will respond.
Kapil Madan.
Now another statement I will respond to Anurag Thakur. When Mr. Shah was doing his election campaign in Delhi, he was saying ki button yahan dabao aur thappad Shaheen Bagh mein lage. So these kind of statements he made. I will ask another question. Was every person who was there in Shaheen Bagh, is it your case that they are Desh?
Sir, we have debated Shaheen Bagh ad nauseum. I am going to ask you very simply about what Mohan Bhagwat has said. As of today, he is saying, and his specific words were, we must condemn violence, but we must not condemn violence selectively. And you have chosen, Mr. Madan, to sidestep my original question. The people who flogged, the policemen who flogged these men in Kheda should be suspended and acted against. But what about the act of pelting stones on a Navratri celebration, Kapil Madan?
Of course,
why is nobody talking about that?
Those should be punished, those should be arrested. There cannot be any debate about it. If they pelted stone, he should be booked, he should be arrested, he should be in jail. Anyone who has pelted stones. But what we are trying to debate the statement of Mr. Mohan Bhagwat. And Sanju is now trying to say that, oh, we are not the one who do any kind of polarization. She mentioned that hate crimes have gone down. I will just give her the data. The hate speeches, number of hate
sir, just a second. When you are talking about who fans hate, name one mainstream political party.
Padmaja, this is unfair.
Sir, sir, because we'll go into a rhetorical sphere when I want to have a very specific discussion. As of today, hold on a second. As of today, when the RSS chief said that here was a man who was butchered in Udaipur, his video was uploaded in order to spread fear in the minds of an entire community. Did one mainstream party come out in the open and said that this mindset of killing people, of beheading people, of taking to the streets and shouting, saying कि सर तन से जुदा, did one mainstream party come out and condemn it? Who condemned it? Name one mainstream party.
I will give you the list of the people who have
list
condemned it.
Give me a name.
Now, the BJP, everyone has condemned it.
Who has condemned it? Give me a name.
And in fact,
give me a name
of this crime,
did the chief of Congress party say one word when people took to the streets and were chanting Sir Tan Se Juda? One name.
I will prepare a list. And
No,
I don't need all the names as of now, but I will prepare a list and I.
Sir, it should be ready, reckoner. You have three people who matter in the party you support, which is Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Did they once say that it's condemnable for people to take to the streets and say Sir Tan Se Juda?
Once. About opposition, I will give you a list. I will give you the entire list of people who have condemned. I will give you
I am giving you three names. Have they condemned?
I need. Everyone has condemned.
Okay, quick response, Sanju Verma. Then I'll bring in Mr. Unyal. Everyone has condemned.
It is unlike BJP who will take sides as per their convenience.
Padmaja.
Okay, go on.
Padmaja, as I said, till date, the Kashmiri Hindu genocide of 1990s has not been condemned by the Congress. Till date, the 1984 anti-Sikh pogrom has not been condemned officially by the Congress biggies. And don't forget, it was in October 2014 that the Narendra Modi government formed a SIT to probe the anti-Sikh genocide, post which Sajjan Kumar was sent to prison. And while Kapil Madam can keep saying, I will give you a list, I have numbers from the United Nations Human Rights Commission which says, in the year 2013, 479 incidents of communal violence took place with 107 people dead, injuring 1,647 people, including 200 policemen. Now, Kapil Madam, I can give you the data for 2013, 12, 11, 12. Can you tell me what has the Congress done to ensure that Sir Tan Se Juda elements are reined in? Don't forget, in Karnataka, your senior leader Altaf Ullur was caught saying Sir Tan Se Juda. Sloganeering was done by him. And have you expelled Altaf Ullur? No. Have you condemned Sharjeel Usmani till date? No. Have you condemned Sharjeel Imam till now? No. When Kanhaiya Kumar in 2016 said, Bharat tere tukde honge inshallah. Rahul Gandhi was tapping from the sidelines.
Please give me the video and show.
Bharat tere tukde honge inshallah.
Okay, we will again not go back into the past because each one of these issues has been debated ad nauseum. We are sticking to what was said today. Tausifur Rahman. When we are talking about these elements who are trying to divide India, who are openly giving a call to violence, today the reason to bring it up was to say, well, if you are going to condemn one side of the violence, you must do it. Action must be taken. But when there is a conspicuous silence on the other side, let me give you another example. In West Bengal, in the heart of Kolkata, when rallies were being held against Nupur Sharma, when an entire road was blocked for almost 3 to 4 hours, the Chief Minister of West Bengal said, this woman is responsible for what is happening to her. I request the protesters, don't block the road. Go to Delhi and block the road. Where was the condemnation, Tausifur Rahman?
Yes, she did. But anyways, Padmaja, Shubho Bijoya to everyone.
To you too.
And well, whatever you said, it's right. And we should very much focus on what Mohan Bhagwat ji said today early in the morning. And before partition or before Azadi, we were fighting for independence. After independence, we were fighting for the India developments. And now, after the Modi regime, we are fighting that how the Sanatan Dharma, how our brother Hindu Dharma should be made safe and how we should stay together. I don't understand what is the logic behind. Well, you know, it is very important what Bhagwat said today, because if you are running for Hindu Rashtra, you know, the minorities will never feel safe, Padmaja. Please listen to me what I'm going to say. I'm not going to spill any poison today. The minorities will never feel safe. And the reason is simple. When our country is secular right now, and still the minorities are being killed and butchered, what are we going to expect when it will become one community country? So this is all about one community country. Nothing else.
When
I
did
don't
he
want
say
to
that?
reply to
Can you be
Sanjuji or
specific to
Madanji,
when he said that this is going to be a one community country?
No, of course.
No, don't make assumptions and say of course.
Padmaja, please record my debate. Please record my debate.
Yes.
And we can.
Oh my God.
Please record my debate. Please record. I hope you have all my records. Please record today as well.
Sir, I am asking you
with Middle East and their rule.
specific
But they never
question,
forced
which
anyone.
is, can you lead me to the part of Mr. Mohan Bhagwat's speech where he said that this will be a country only for one community? I may have missed it. Can you tell me where did he say that?
Which community? Which
Any
which
community.
That's what I'm saying. So indirectly, he's anyway suppressing and asking, no, there is no any community. That it is very simple that you have to follow the Sanatan Dharma and the followers. No. You have to follow it. What about this 32 pages of Hindu Rashtra which has been present in Prayagraj? We are not discussing that.
Okay, just a second. Let me bring in Sanjeev Onyal. Just a second, Sanju Verma. Just a second, Sanju Verma. Okay, so first of all, what has been presented in Prayagraj is not connected to what has been sent by Mohan Bhagwat. He is responsible for what he says alone, not for what other people are doing in Prayagraj in some or the other organization. Sanjeev Onyal, did Mr. Mohan Bhagwat say indirectly when he said that Sanatan Dharma का protection होना चाहिए, that सिर्फ Sanatan Dharma को ही रहना चाहिए भारत में? Sanjeev Onyal.
So, Padmaja, you are right. He has never said it. I'll not touch the political aspect of whatsoever discussion is where it was going on. I'll say sometimes I feel prouded that an organization which has been given so many question marks, that this organization is very aggressive, they come with swords, they are the only pro-Hindu organization, they don't believe in country, they were never the fighters while independence struggle was going on. So I'm surprised. I'll quote 3-4 examples. The DNA of each and every Indian is same. This is a clear-cut version of Sarsang Chalakji. Then he has visited. He said, you cannot find shivling out of every masjid. These were the top organizations, top person who is the mouthpiece of RSS said these things. And he has visited 5-6 top Maulanas in going into the masjid and having tea with them. So this is the version. He had never said. According to them, he should, instead of saying this, on the Sthapna Divas of RSS, today Vijay Dashmi, he would have told the highest, biggest organization of the world, that's in the WHO record also.
Sir,
yes,
you should read the following pages.
Please listen.
You should read the following pages which came in Times Now only. I've read from there only. That the Muslims won't get right to vote.
Padmaja.
Who said? Hold on. Who said Muslims will not get a right to vote?
With harmony.
Sir, please, let's not come on national TV and spread misinformation. Who said this?
No, I'm not diverting the whole issue, Padmaja. I'm telling you the fact today.
Who said the
fact?
Okay, can we please have one person speak at a time? Tawfiqur Rahman, who said Muslims will not have the right to vote?
I can be precise to you.
Please.
I can give you all page by page. I can give it to you page by page.
Who said it?
You make a debate after 1 hour. I can give it to you. You can take me to court.
Who said it?
There is a set of people which are going to represent as a Hindu Rashtra. उन्होंने पेजेस बनाए हैं ना, उन्होंने पूरा एक लिफाफा तैयार किया है ना.
How do you decide who represents Hindu Rashtra? You don't get to. You pick up the vilest elements. You pick up some random nobody who's sitting in some corner of the country spouting nonsense for 2 seconds of fame, and you'd be like, yeah, Hindu Rashtra. As opposed to billions of other people who are saying no. We want to live in harmony. We want to live with mutual respect. But that is the key word, sir. Mutual respect. You cannot expect respect.
It is, again I'm telling you,
and safety if you don't give it.
Muslims won't get right to vote.
Who said
again,
it?
I'm telling you.
Who said it?
Again, I'm telling you, the Muslims won't get right to vote. Again, I'm telling you.
Who said it?
I can show it to you.
Who
You just
said
keep
it?
a debate after one. I'm challenging it to you on
Okay, sir. I think we are talking right now about what Mohan Bhagwat is saying. Just a second. Sanjeev Unyal is replying to you. Instead of focusing on the message being given by a person on a national stage, you will pick up some random nobody from some page and decide to amplify his message. Sanjeev Unyal.
No.
Padmaja, this is the only reason why these people, this school of thought, please allow me to speak. Please, gentlemen, just have a patience. This is the reason, because they intermix number of times political wing, and RSS is a different social organization. RSS has never said we should proud of RSS. They have always talked about cohesiveness, inclusiveness and integrity, solidarity of the country. That is the reason. From last 97 years, they have 52 Anusangik Sangathan doing everything what is supposed to be done by you people. They have done. They have gone what they have done. 12,17,000 families. They have given
hiding everything, sir.
ration in COVID times continuously 2021, 22.
Okay.
And Andhra.
If you
Chakravat,
want to make India as a Hindu Rashtra,
and what happened? What
Sir,
are you saying?
again, you decide to cherry pick Syed Hasanul Haq and Tawseefur Rahman. We cannot cherry pick what has been said to suit our convenience. Now, let me read out to you verbatim again what was said and not cherry picking. Mohan Bhagwat today said, and I quote, "Now when Sangh is receiving the affection and confidence of people and has become strong, the concept of Hindu Rashtra is being taken seriously. Many people agree with the concept but are opposed to the word Hindu and they prefer to use other words. We don't have any issue with that. For the clarity of concept, we will emphasize the word Hindu for ourselves. You want to call it secular Rashtra? Sure, by all means, you call it that. If the RSS says this is Hindu Rashtra, which basically means a certain set of values is going to be given preference, you call it by any other name, Syed Hasanul Haq.
What kind of values, Padmaja? The Muslims...
values of, and again, this was quoted in the speech.
With their friends.
Values
what kind of
respecting Bharat,
what kind of
companions in bliss and sorrow.
Celebrate Diwali. The Muslims won't be able to celebrate Durga Puja. The Muslims won't be able to celebrate Kali Puja with their friends. What kind of enjoyment? What kind of equality you are talking about? You people are hiding everything right now. What is going to come in 2023?
Mr. Tawseefur Rahman, you know you are making an apples to oranges comparison. Now somebody deciding to have their own pandal and saying that I reserve the right to admit who I want cannot be made into a standard for equality. Anyway, let Syed Hasanul Haq also come in. Syed Hasanul Haq. Syed Hasanul Haq.
I will talk to you.
Syed Hasanul Haq.
पहले मैं आज विजयदशमी है, आप तमाम लोगों को पैनल में बैठे हुए हैं, पद्मजा जी आपको तमाम देशवासियों को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
आपको भी।
आज देखिए पद्मजा जी, आज देश में जो वातावरण दूषित करने का काम किया जा रहा है, अब देखिए अभी मैं सबसे पहले बताना चाहूंगा, धर्मेंद्र पांडे नाम के एक गायक हैं, आरएसएस और वीएचपी से वो ताल्लुक रखते हैं। यूपी के इटावा में कल उन्होंने क्या कहा है, हिंदुओं एक हो जाओ सनातन धर्म के नाम पे, अपने पास कट्टे जो भी है धारदार हथियार, जब मोदी जी हम लोग को आवाज देंगे, आरएसएस बीजेपी आवाज देगी, हम एक साथ आपके साथ खड़े हो जाएंगे। अरे आप चुप रहिए, अरे परेशान क्यों हो जाते हैं सर, आप है पेशेंस रखा कीजिए, बोलना शुरू कर देते हैं तो सुना कीजिए, थोड़ा बहुत देर से सुन रहा था आपको।
बस आरएसएस
क्या कहता है धर्मेंद्र पांडे कहता है
अरे सैयद हसनुल हक, आप मोहन भागवत को नहीं सुनेंगे। अगेन, कौन है ये धर्मेंद्र पांडे? आप धर्मेंद्र पांडे को सुनेंगे। आज when you have Mohan Bhagwat saying recently in Udaipur and some other places extremely horrific and grisly incidents occurred, and you must focus on this and not some random Dharmendra Pandey. I hope he is also in jail. When Mohan Bhagwat says particular community as a whole cannot be taken as a root cause for these incidents, after the Udaipur incident, from within the Muslim society few prominent persons voiced their protest against the incident. incident. This manner of protest should not be isolated phenomenon within the Muslim society. It should become the nature of larger sections. Hindu society in general assertively express their protest and reaction after such incidents, even if the accused is a Hindu person. Syed Hasanul Haq, if a whipping happens in Kheda, they should be jailed. There is no doubt about it. But do you think calls of Sanatan against Nupur Sharma were wrong?
Please allow me for 30 seconds, Padmaja.
Syed Hasanul Haq.
Padmaja, may I please?
मैम, देश की एकता अखंडता संविधान को तार करने का कोई भी, वो हिंदू हो या मुसलमान, देश को हिंदू या मुस्लिम राष्ट्र बनाने की मांग करता है।
सर, आप इधर उधर की क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? सीधा सवाल आपसे ये है कि जिसने उन लोगों को मारा खेड़ा में वो गलत थे। जिन लोगों ने नुपुर शर्मा को धमकाया, क्या आपके हिसाब से गलत है?
मैं कह रहा हूं कि जो लोग संविधान से ऊपर बढ़ के,
जो लोग नुपुर शर्मा को धमका रहे थे, क्या वो गलत थे, हाँ या ना?
धमकाने की बात हो, नुपुर शर्मा को धमकाने की बात हो, या नुपुर शर्मा की बदजुबानी की बात हो, या फिर कपिल मिश्रा द्वारा,
सर
बीजेपी आरएसएस द्वारा,
इधर उधर की क्यों जब बात कर रहे हैं आप? नुपुर शर्मा को धमकाना गलत था, हाँ या ना?
कहा जाता है, झारखंड के कोडरमा के अंदर कहा जाता है मियां मादर में।
सर,
आगे डैश डैश डैश
आपने सब कुछ बोल दिया, आपने हाँ या ना में इसी बात का जवाब नहीं दिया, and that is the problem. When it is being said, it should not be difficult to condemn. What's wrong is wrong. And enlightened voices like you should come out and say this is wrong. They should be arrested. Sanju Verma wants to quickly respond. I'll go back to Tausifur Rahman. Yes, quickly respond, Sanju.
Thank you. Padmaja, I at the start said that I condemn the whipping of people at Kheda. But let me also tell you that, while I have openly condemned the whipping at Kheda, the fact is that some of the people on this panel, I challenge them to openly condemn the PFI, which was now in hindsight seemingly involved in Hathras, in the amputation of arms of Professor T.J. Joseph, in what happened to Umesh Kole at Amravati, in what happened to Kanhaiya Lal in Rajasthan, in what happened to Praveen Nettaru. You will not condemn PFI, but you will take up the name of some random Dharmendra Pandey and bring a false equivalence and compare him to Mohan Bhagwat. I have never heard of Dharmendra Pandey, so please don't quote any Tom, Dick or Harry to give legitimacy to your frivolous allegations. Padmaja, can I please finish? Can I please finish?
सर, ये तो गलत बात है ना। कोई भी आदमी खड़ा हो जाएगा जिसका नाम पांडे होगा, आप उसको आरएसएस की विचारधारा बोल देंगे। तो कोई भी आदमी अगर सर तन से जुदा बोलेगा, उसको कि क्या पूरी कम्युनिटी को टार कर दिया जाए, सेइंग कि ये सबकी विचारधारा है, दिस इज रॉन्ग। सर, मानसिकता तो फिर जो लोग चिल्ला रहे हैं सर तन से जुदा, वो किसकी मानसिकता है? आप पूरी कम्युनिटी को टार कर देंगे, सेइंग कि ये तो पूरी आरएसएस की सोच है, तो ये किसकी सोच है?
जो गांधी को मारने वाले लोग हैं, गांधी जी को मारने वाले।
ओके, लास्ट 20 सेकंड, संजू वर्मा, लास्ट 20 सेकंड्स।
Yes, Padmaja, people here on this panel should know. प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना की बात हो, प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना की बात हो, प्रधानमंत्री किसान सम्मान निधि योजना की बात हो, प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना की बात हो, more than 31% of each of those welfare schemes has been allocated for the benefit of Muslims.
नरसंहार की बात कर लीजिए।
All welfare schemes, more than 31% goes to the Muslim community.
आज के देश में, आज के मुल्क में।
That is what the Modi government has done for empowering
Walking the talk doesn't matter, Tausifur Rahman. Actual benefits don't matter. The fringe of fringe is what defines an entire thought and an entire culture.
प्रधानमंत्री फसल
No, Padmaja, 20 seconds, please.
Okay, 20 seconds.
I just want to question Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma जी, आपको शुभ विजया, हैप्पी दशहरा। प्लीज मेरे जवाब दीजिए। पद्मजा जी अटैक्ड मी, उनको सही लगा, she attacked me. But I just want to know, Hari Bhushan Thakur, Bihar BJP MLA on Thursday demanded withdrawal of voting rights of members of Muslim community. Okay, and again he said, when a country achieved independence in 1947, a Muslim community was given a piece of land in Pakistan. They should also leave right now, right at this moment. आप बताइए, इनको तो आप जानती हैं, पांडे को तो आप नहीं जानती हैं, ये आपके प्रिय ठाकुर साहब को तो आप जानती हैं। See, Padmaja, this is my problem. We are not talking about Hindu and Muslims. We are talking about ideology.
How will this coexist?
Like Bin Laden.
How will this coexist, Sanju Verma?
Padmaja, let me be very clear. You know, I hate this, false equivalences which are drawn. Some, Hari Bhushan Thakur and Dharmendra Pandey cannot be compared to RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Mohan Bhagwat has been very clear that why we need to protect Sanatan Dharma. He clearly said we should be, concerned about scaremongering by fringe elements. And when he said scaremongering by fringe elements, he meant the likes of people like you, who are radical hardliners, will not condemn the
and equally MLAs who speak out of line and make such comments, a larger message which is being given on a day of Dussehra then gets undermined because someone who is in the ruling party steps up and says things like this which clearly do not bear out the message of Sabka Saath. It's a positive message, but then the messaging needs to be uniform and needs to be borne out by actions across the board. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, Sanju Verma, for joining. For the first time, the victims of terror perpetrated by Pakistan and its proxies have dropped the veil on years of systematic rape and abuse that has taken place by Pakistan-backed terrorists in Kashmir. At the UN Human Rights Council, Kashmiri activists Taslima Akhtar and Shoaib Lone detailed how women have been the worst victims of Pak proxy nexus, subjected to rape and sexual assault by terrorists, and this truth systematically whitewashed and hidden by the same people who for years kept saying that the human rights violations that take place in Kashmir are at the hands of the state and its forces.
I have witnessed many close members of mine brutally murdered in the hands of terrorists who claimed to have been fighting our war while killing our own at the same time.
Today, I would like to highlight the plethora of the victims of militancy in Kashmir. To begin with, my father was brutally murdered by militants. His only fault was that he entered active politics with the hope of contributing to constructive dialogue. Following his death, our lives has been beset by social and economical challenges. Like my family, the valley has witnessed thousands of innocent lives being lost at the hands of terrorism in these 3 decades. It's even more challenging for the woman victim to speak about exploitation and sexual abuse due to fear of social pressure and threats from terrorist groups.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Well, these are chilling revelations which have been made by victims at the UNHRC, but they are not the only ones. Women in Kashmir, victims of rape, have also spoken up. We'll play out their testimonies also in just a bit. But how do you stand to defend even this? Ahmad Ayaz, lawyer, political activist Majid Hydari, Sushil Pandit activist, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. How do you defend this, Mr. Ahmad Ayaz? Finally, after all these years, people are speaking up in the UN and saying these people, Pakistan and the terrorists, are responsible. Why do they need to speak up now? You should have spoken up years ago.
You see anybody approaching the UN or any other human rights organization to see that to seek justice or raise their voice against the violations done? There's nothing wrong. Everybody has a right to do it, and we welcome it. And you know it that the Kashmir being a conflict zone, and in the process, under the many things have happened. The misuses have been done. And we remember there had been a mass raping of women at Kunanposhpora.
And sir, every time that has happened, action has been taken. But how many times, give me just one example of an activist like you or a lawyer like Majid Hydari or a journalist like him has stood up and said, you know what, young Kashmiri women are being victimized by terrorists. The same terrorists who are hailed as some kind of Ghazi and Shaheed and whose funeral procession is being lionized. Did you ever stand up and say that these terrorists are not any Ghazis, they are rapists?
No, well, see, so far as standing against the militancy I don't think that situation has come in Kashmir, that where people can come and stand against the gun, knowingly that they will be gunned down before they talk about.
Sir, it is not about standing up against the gun.
And if somebody has a conception, he should.
Your own family members were being picked up. If you listen to some of these testimonies, it is shocking. Of a lady and a little child being raped, 9-year-old girls being picked up. And what are the families told? Oh, you're doing it for the larger cause.
As I told you, Padmaja,
a 9-year-old girl is made the wife of a militant because it's the larger cause. What is the cause? Why didn't you guys speak about it all these years?
As I told you, Padmaja, the situation is not that conducive in Kashmir that people can come and stand against the gun. I don't think anybody will.
But it is very conducive for you to stand up and speak against the armed forces who are the rapists and murderers according to you. So here is the irony, Sushil Pandit, that the Indian army all these years and the Indian state was supposed to be the oppressor, but everyone had the condition to speak up against them. Nobody could speak up against these well-meaning Ghazis and Shaheeds.
Yes. You know, I must share personal experiences here, Padmaja. People who were unwittingly killed, innocents who were killed sometimes deliberately, out of anger, out of pique, out of sheer madness. The cover-ups happened because this would bring a bad name to Tehreek. The entire movement will get besmirched, will lose reputation in the name of keeping the reputation intact of jihad. Lot of such crimes were covered. When their own women, their own daughters, their own sisters were raped, were brutalized, were regularly victimized, sexually abused. All this was covered in the name of keeping the good name of jihad intact. You know, you must know 6-7 years back, there was a madrasa in Badgam run by a Maulvi called Gulzar. This was a madrasa only for women. And he routinely sexually exploited teenage girls under his watch. There was no upsurge, there was no uproar, there was no outrage. Because you need to keep the good name of society, jihad, and people like Maulvis, the institutions of madrasas, that reputation had to be safeguarded. So all these heinous crimes had to be covered.
Good name of jihad.
That has been the mindset in Kashmir.
People must not be protected. The good name of jihad must be protected. Majid Haidri.
Well, Padmaja Saiba, firstly, happy Dashera, and I hope and pray that the Ravan of communal disharmony in the country is gutted to center, and so that Muslims and Hindus revive the tradition of playing Garba together. Now, coming to this point, see, today only one civilian has been shot dead by security forces in Kashmir. And then coming to this UNHRC point, see, our policy as Indian state has been that we won't allow any foreign intervention or interference with regard to Kashmir, because Kashmir is internal matter of India. Now, when we ourselves take this issue to the international community, we are actually internationalizing Kashmir for the sake of it, because BJP is showing its immaturity on how the policy on Kashmir has been.
So you're saying that these women should just shut up again? For all these years, you had shut them up. They should continue to shut up.
Kashmir.
Did you have the same problem, sir, when time and again activists, so-called activists, and all your fact-finding missions used to go and have conferences all across the world talking about atrocities in Kashmir? Did you have a problem with internationalizing the issue at that time, Majid Haidri?
Then our Indian state has held a tradition that Kashmir is India's internal issue, and we won't.
Oh, now you remember. Now you remember the internal issue of Kashmir. How lovely. All these years, when you go and participate in conferences by all and sundry and the Ghulam Nabi Faiz of the world, then you didn't remember. Ghulam Nabi Fai kaun se koi bade internal matter hai hamare? उनकी कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में कौन जा रहा था?
It's poorest of the poor maturity on the part of BJP government that they have internationalized.
Sanju Verma, why are you internationalizing an internal issue?
Okay, let me be very clear.
Happy Dashera, Sanju Verma Saiba, happy Dashera.
Thank you, and I hope that it's not just lip service from your end. Here today and gone tomorrow. Sorry for being cynical, but truth needs to be told. Padmaja, let's be very honest that, when Rifleman Aurangzeb was killed in 2018, when Special Police Officer Fayaz Ahmed Bhatt was killed in trial along with his family in 2021, unequivocally, many sane Indians, including people from the BJP, who are called majoritarian by every Tom, Dick and Harry, we condemned, despite the fact that they belong to a certain religion. But the fact is, when NL Bindru was killed, when that poor Golgappa seller Virendra Paswan was hacked to death, when Arvind Saha, a poor hawker, was hacked to death, when Deepak Chand and Supinder Kaur were profiled for being Hindus and then shot dead by hardline Muslim radicalized terrorists, I did not see unequivocal condemnation from Majid Haidri and his ilk. And that is where the problem lies, that you play the good cop, bad cop. In television studios, you come and say, sab kuch acha hai. But on the ground, you lend legitimacy to terror apologists and terrorists by never unequivocally condemning that jihad is the root cause of what we continue to see in Kashmir, albeit after abrogation of Article 370, stone pelting incidents are down by 91% and terror incidents are down by 67%.
It is not just about condemning what is happening right now. What is even more horrifying, that an entire narrative was spun for years and years together for what came to be known as a conflict industry in Kashmir, which wanted to present one picture of Kashmir, of India in front of the whole world. And in trying to present their picture, they silenced the people, their own people, who were being victimized by those who they hailed as their jihadis, their holy warriors. Think about that. If something has changed after 370 going, is that these voices of real people, real Kashmiris, are now in front of the whole world. Let's hope more such voices keep coming out. Thanks very much, all gentlemen and Sanju Verma, for joining me.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break. The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
You can't.
A quick roundup of some of the other stories coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi wished courage, restraint and positive energy to the citizens on the country on the auspicious occasion of Vijay Dashami. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh interacts with army jawans and also performed the Shastra Puja in Uttarakhand's Chamoli district on the occasion of Vijay Dashami. Indian Navy will soon be inducting the country's first human-carrying drone named Varuna, developed by the Indian startup Sagar Defence Engineering Private Limited in Pune.
Times Now has accessed the telephonic conversation between the accused Pulkit Arya and Ankita's friend. This is a phone conversation that took place between the main accused Pulkit Arya and Ankita's close friend. Listen in.
हेलो
हेलो
हाँ पता लगा कुछ?
हेलो बात करता हूँ बस आपको आधे घंटे में हम यहीं बैठे हुए हैं अभी।
कहाँ बैठे हो आप?
यहाँ स्टेशन में, पुलिस स्टेशन में।
पुलिस स्टेशन में?
हाँ, वो इंस्पेक्टर से बात हो गई है, वो पहुँच रहे हैं अभी हमारे पास 10-15 मिनट में।
आप अभी पुलिस स्टेशन में हो, वो रिजॉर्ट में जाएंगे
क्या? हाँ रिजॉर्ट में जाएंगे, पूरा सारा सब देखेंगे, सारी चीज सब देखेंगे, कहाँ है, किसके साथ बात किया, क्या नहीं किया, कॉल डिटेल पूरी निकालेंगे, हिस्ट्री सब निकालेंगे। भाई ये सब करना पड़ेगा।
अच्छा मुझे एक बात बताइए।
हाँ,
जब आपने मेरे को रात को फोन किया था कि इनको ले जाओ, है ना, कहीं और जॉब ढूंढो, तो उसके बाद से उनका फोन बंद क्यों हुआ है? मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आ रहा।
भैया आपको सारी बात समझाएंगे, अभी आप आधा घंटा दीजिए, आधे घंटे बाद बात करते हैं।
चलो ये भी मानता हूँ, चलो जो भी है, मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आ रहा, आपने अपना पर्सनल फोन कैसे दे दिया पूरी रात के लिए?
भैया मेरा पर्सनल फोन क्या है, मेरे फोन में क्या है, ऐसा कुछ
नहीं ऐसी बात नहीं है। जैसे मेरा कोई पर्सनल फोन है, मैं पूरी रात के लिए किसी को थोड़ी ना दूंगा।
हो सकता है कि शायद आपके पर्सनल फोन में कुछ ऐसी चीजें रहती हो कि आप किसी को नहीं दे सकते हो।
नहीं जो मर्जी हो, मगर पर्सनल फोन है ना, बंदा कहीं पे भी फोन कर सकता है।
और दूसरी बात क्या है ना, ऐसा है, देखिए मैं अभी यहाँ बैठा हुआ हूँ, मैं आपको भी आधे घंटे में बात करता हूँ।
देखो जो मर्जी हो, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपकी, आपको ढूंढना पड़ेगा, जो मर्जी हो।
भाई साहब वही कर रहे हैं, और आप ना हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मत समझाइए पुष्प, समझ रहे हैं आप?
देखिए मैं आपको समझा नहीं रहा हूँ, मैं आपको याद दिला रहा हूँ।
बस आपको याद दिलाने की जरूरत नहीं है, हम जानते हैं हम कितने रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं।
हाँ बिल्कुल, आप ढूंढिए।
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में?
नहीं हेमा
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त जंजन जी राधे राधे
कल राखी सावंत का फिल्म देंगे। He will also become सांसद बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में। कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी कल राखी सावंत का बिकम। बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
तो मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ। और क्यों नहीं, हमारे मोदी साहब, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी चाय बनाते बनाते प्रधानमंत्री जी पीएम बन सकते हैं। तो
Viewers, during the course of his annual Vijayadashmi address, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat sounded a surprisingly unambiguous alarm, flagging an existential threat to Sanatan Dharma. Bhagwat feels that a number of obstacles are hindering Sanatan Dharma. Bhagwat said that the main threat is posed by those forces who are inimical to Bharat's unity and progress. Bhagwat accused them of spreading fake narratives, encouraging anarchy, engaging in criminal acts, fomenting terror, social conflict and unrest. Bhagwat said that this fake narrative was spreading disaffection, especially among vulnerable minorities. The idea, he said, was to force them into thinking that the RSS was a dangerous organization. He said that the Sangh has always stood on the side of brotherhood, amity, and fraternity. But he also appealed to the minority community to do some heavy lifting along with the RSS. He called upon the minority community to stand up in greater numbers to these sources of disinformation. In his first direct reference to the barbarous decapitation of a tailor in Udaipur at the hands of the Sartan Se Juda mob, Bhagwat expressed his disappointment that the overwhelming majority of Muslims and others in larger society didn't condemn this act. Instead, only a few select voices from the Muslim community stood up to the Islamists and spreaders of disaffection. Viewers, first listen to Mohan Bhagwat today. Listen to some very important words that he has actually spelt out. Listen to this.
दूसरे प्रकार की जो बाधा है, सनातन मूल्यों का क्षरण न हो, ये देखकर चलते समय और भी एक बाधा है, वो बाहर से आती है, जो भारतवर्ष की प्रगति को होने नहीं देना चाहते। उसलिए भारतवर्ष के समाज में किसी प्रकार का सद्भाव, सामंजस्य जो नहीं चाहते, जिनके स्वार्थों को मार मिलेगी ऐसा उनको डर लगता है, ऐसा होने से वो सारी शक्तियां बाधा उत्पन्न करती है। उधर उदयपुर में, इधर अमरावती में और भी जगह बहुत जघन्य क्रूरता वाली घटनाएं हुई। मुस्लिमों के भी कुछ प्रमुख लोगों ने इसका विरोध किया, उसको गैर इस्लामिक बताया। अन्याय, असत्य, अत्याचार, आतंक के खिलाफ ऐसे ही खड़ा होना चाहिए, ये अपवाद न रहे। हिंदू समाज में ये मुखरता है, ऐसी घटनाएं घटती है तो कोई हिंदू भी आरोपित है, उसका भी निषेध करते, उसके खिलाफ बोलते। हम विश्व में सर्वत्र और सबके साथ भाईचारा, भद्रता और शांति के पक्ष में हैं, सदा रहे। लेकिन लोग डराते, अरे इस संघ वाले मारेंगे, और ये हिंदू संगठन होगा ना तो सबको बाहर जाना पड़ेगा, ये हवा फैलाते हैं। ऐसा कुछ डर मन में है, और है इसलिए उसका निराकरण करने की इच्छा मन में लेकर तथाकथित अल्पसंख्यक समाज के कुछ बंधु पिछले वर्षों में हमसे मिलते रहे हैं और हम भी मिले हैं, हमारे प्रमुख अधिकारी उनसे मिले हैं.
Viewers, BJP leader and former Rajya Sabha member of Parliament Subramanian Swamy welcomed Bhagwat's speech, calling out the forces inimical to nation's unity. Listen in to Dr. Swamy.
I 100% endorse it. I mean, what is it that we are saying? That for 1,000 years we were suppressed. The Hindus were suppressed. The Muslims first suppressed us, and then the British suppressed us to their Christianity. And now we want a renaissance in our religion. All these caste divisions and all, they are not based on birth. You have to just read the Gita to know that Varna is not based on birth. So we want a renaissance in Hinduism. And you go on making everything as fascism, as Hitlerism, so on and so forth. I think he's absolutely right.
The opposition, viewers, however, wasn't impressed and called Bhagwat's call for unity and his entire thesis a basic pretext to play the Hindu victimhood card. He said that at least large number of opposition voices said that Mr. Bhagwat needs to introspect because some of those organizations allied very closely to the Sangh are actually responsible for the poison, for the disinformation, for the fake narratives that are actually dividing this country. Listen in, viewers.
Mohan Bhagwat always give lecture, many lectures, but those are not implemented on the ground. Only abusing minority, it is the source of RSS origin. All civilized people should live together. But RSS is trying to divide the people in the name of religion and caste.
Well, I hope that includes many of his own affiliates. Because saying is one thing, doing is something else. It's very easy to preach, but we all very well know that when the ban on PFI was done, we welcomed it. But there are so many organizations which are very, very close to Mr. Mohan Bhagwat's Sangh Parivar, which is also acting in a way which is inimical to India's unity. What is he going to do about that? He should specify, no? And he should instruct the government, because the government also listens to what he says. So he should instruct the government to take action against those people who are very close to Sangh Parivar, like the Hindu Jagran Vedike, the Bajrang Dal. All of them, what are they up to?
Viewers, let's open this up, because the questions, the concerns that are being flagged by Mr. Bhagwat represent what many people believe today is a creeping attempt to criminalize and discredit the Hindu faith, Hindutva in general. Let's open this up and ask some fundamental questions as to whether those that are denying this are actually enabling this propaganda. I want to first begin with Sanjay Jha, who is a Congress leader. Mr. Jha, what do you make today of Mr. Bhagwat's commentary? He refers for the first time to Udaipur. He says that it was disappointing that very few minorities actually came out and condemned what was really the act of Islamists, and that most Muslims do not even subscribe to this sort of retaliatory, revanchist punishment.
I do believe that everyone, however, has a fundamental right to comment on which way India is headed. I do admit that whatever happened with the decapitation and all the ugly communal temperature in this country has to be strongly condemned, whoever it may be. But I want to ask this question of some very eminent people from the Sangh Parivar on your panel, many of them whom I have debated with. How have they been responding to the very brazen hate or the communal sectarian politics of the BJP since 2014? Look at the data on lynching murders, Rahul. until they happened in India since 2014, I thought I was only going to read about them when I read Mississippi Burning, or when you talked about the civil rights movement in America when they were at the Ku Klux Klan was in operation. But here, lynching, murders happened. And did Mr. Bhagwat condemn it? Did the BJP condemn it? Did the Prime Minister say anything? Not at all. And we had not one, but several of them. I agree that there were victims from different communities as well. But the majority victims were always the minority Muslims. And that, to me, is the biggest hypocrisy of the RSS and the BJP.
Okay. So, expansive opening statement by Sanjay Jha. He can't accuse anyone today of saying that we didn't give him space. Now, he says that it's strange that a socio-cultural NGO today, the head of that, we are discussing his words, which tells you who really controls the levers of power, etc., etc. This is quite rich coming from the Congress party that quotes NGOs like Oxfam and Amnesty day after day to basically paint a dire picture of India in every which way. It's also specifically rich of the Congress, who actually has not only at different times allied with, but also osmotically taken in the cadre of offhand, fly-by-night, fact-checking websites, urban naxals, etc. No one will be under the illusion, viewers, that the Congress party, and I'm just giving you some facts because we are trying to expose the false equivalence that is being drawn. Several times the Congress in the recent few days, viewers, has been saying that the crackdown on the PFI, for example, I'm not talking about after the ban was announced, I'm talking in the lead up to the ban. How many times the Congress party came out and said that any such crackdown is actually an assault on civil liberties? And what were we talking about? The PFI, which defines itself as a socio-cultural NGO. So the Congress picks up the socio-cultural NGOs it thinks will actually strengthen their argument, and picks up facts from there. I'm only saying, sir, the facts here. I'm only saying the facts.
Supported the PFI ban, Rahul.
No, I'm talking. You didn't hear me.
What about the
you didn't hear me, Sanjay Jha. You didn't hear me. Please, you didn't hear me. I was talking. Okay, don't please talk. I mean, listen to what I'm saying. I made a very pointed. Excuse me, sir. I'm coming to that point. I did say that before the PFI was banned, before, not after. So please pay attention to what I'm saying. The Congress changed its tune in the lead up to when they realized the ban was imminent, and right after. Before that, forget about championing the PFI's most divisive agenda items. You even had in Karnataka moments when you shared the stage with the SDPI and the PFI. They're one and the same thing. The Election Commission will also take action against the SDPI. So let's not try to today obfuscate. I'm only drawing an apples to apples comparison since you brought it up to expose the duplicity here. But nonetheless, on the larger point that Sanjay Jha made, that look, there is an element of double standards that the various organizations affiliated to, etc., of the RSS, they are the ones indulging in dividing this country. Prime Minister and Mohan Bhagwat and have never spoken up, this, that, the other. The Prime Minister has spoken up several times, viewers, and I have instances which I can bring out here right now. First of all, let me quickly bring this to your attention, viewers, that there were at least in January 2019, Modi condemned Gaurakshak lynchings. In July 2017, he said, I have asked states to take strict action against those violating law in the name of cow protection. It should not be given political color or communal color. The nation doesn't benefit from it. And he went on. But viewers, there were several instances, since the facts are being asked of me right now by Sanjay Jha, I just want to put them out to you. And let's quickly go over this. when the Karnataka government acknowledged under Siddaramaiah that there was no proposal to ban the PFI. This is January 14, 2018. Very clearly saying that there is no proposal and neither do we intend to. Not just the Congress, Chidambaram had condemned the arrest of 5 individuals in the Bhima Koregaon case. In 2018, the 5 arrested were social activists and intellectuals. The arrests were also made to instill fear in those speaking against the BJP government. When Congress tried to draw a false equivalence between the PFI and RSS following the ban on the PFI, what Mr. Surjewala said, the belated action of the PFI ban is a step in the right direction after prolonged vacillation. When will BJP government act against the other side of the same coin? Organization close to BJP, RSS, communalism and hate in all forms is harmful to societal fabric and must be curbed. So even after the ban, viewers,